little cringe to me that the U.S. men's Olympic hockey team sent the jerseys to the baseball players, and the baseball players wore the jerseys into the stadium. Like, I feel like go with me on this. In most situations, something like that is cool, right? Like, it's cool that, like, the other teams are rallying behind each other and they're trying to support. Yesterday, it felt cringy because it felt like it was only done for social media. It felt like the U.S. baseball team wore the hockey jerseys just for the photo op entering the state. Like, it didn't feel like that was a rallying cry for the group. Hey, let's all wear the hockey jerseys because we're in this together and we're going to win the gold medal tonight. Like, it felt very staged.
Yeah.
And it felt very corporate, and that sponsorships wanted to make sure that the players had the products, and let's get the photos and let's put this out there. And it just felt very cringe after the fact when they fell flat on their face and the bats did nothing throughout the game except for Harper and his 2-run bomb.
It did look kind of cool when Aaron Judge is walking through the tunnel, like with the jersey on, like doing the slow walk into the stadium with the jersey on. Like, if he had been carrying his bat, like as if he was walking into the stadium with his bat, like he was Sting or something walking into the stadium, like that would have been cool. But again,
like, do you understand my point? Is like that stuff is
staged.
supposed to be
it's
cool.
Staged. Yes,
but
it's
like
staged.
in today's day and age, on in a setting like that, it just felt very forced, and it was only done for social media.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like to me. Just like in the other sport where this is a big deal, walking into the NBA, it feels very forced now.
Yeah.
All the styles and the people that care about what guys are wearing into the arena.
Yeah.
How about we talk about basketball?
Yeah.
Just it's supposed to be cool that you had the hockey jerseys on celebrating the team that just won the gold medal at the Winter Olympics. It just felt like the first thing I thought of yesterday when I saw that was, they're going to lose tonight.
Oh, well, look.
Like, I didn't think that was good vibes heading into it. It felt very forced.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying. Like, I understand what team the hockey team was trying to do and why they wore that and everything like that. And then you get into the game, and the vibes are very high for both teams. Venezuela gets out to that early lead, and Team USA looks like they can't hit anything. They looks like the cartoon that's swinging where they spin around 1,000 times and end up in the middle of the dirt. Like, that's what they look like. And finally, Bryce Harper hits the 2-run home run. Everything changes. The atmosphere was electric for both teams after that. And then Mark DeRosa, the manager, decides to bring in Garrett Whitlock from the Red Sox. Now, mind you, Mason Miller in that situation.
Okay.
He's the closer for the Padres.
Yep. Give me some stats. What do you have?
For the World Baseball Classic.
World Baseball Classic. Stat us up here, Abdalla.
0 hits given up. 0 runs given up.
Yeah.
10 strikeouts.
Okay.
Hitters are 0-12 against him.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
During the game, Ken Rosenthal had said he's available. He's available.
He's ready to go.
He's ready to go. But for some reason, Mark DeRosa brings in Garrett Whitlock instead of Mason Miller. So here's Mark DeRosa after the game being asked why you didn't bring in the best reliever in baseball in the highest leverage situation.
Honoring the Padres. Had we taken the lead, he was coming in, but I wasn't going to bring him into a tie game.
There wasn't going to be a safe situation at that point.
I wanted to honor the fact that there was a situation there where if it was tied, we were going to use Whitlock. We had talked to the Red Sox about that, and if we had the lead, we were going to use Mason.
So DeRosa, the way he describes it is, even though Mason would have been available, they predetermined what they were going to do before they got to that point. Abdalla, I'll let you rant about this. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. It's very obvious that Mark DeRosa should not be managing a baseball team.
No.
He's a TV host. He's on the MLB Network.
No.
And he is in over his head managing a baseball team.
No.
That is the one thing that is very clear, taking away from Team USA and their failure of not winning the gold medal last night, is Mark DeRosa is not a baseball manager.
No, and he said honoring the Padres. So you would have brought him in if the U.S. had taken a lead and scored one more run and gone up 3-2 there instead of tied 2-2. So if he would have needed to come in for a save rather than a hold there or whatever, but you still would have pitched him. What's the difference? Honoring the Padres, F the Padres.
Well,
the season doesn't start for over a week. Who cares?
The difference, though, is that these are predetermined outcomes that they pass through the teams. That's the difference.
Do you want to win this or not?
Well, okay, but
is he available or not? It's an inning or not. It's one inning or it's not an inning.
The point
what
is,
does it matter?
He made the decisions before the game.
But what does it matter?
That was the decision.
It's an inning or it's not an inning. Whether it's a save or it's one inning is one inning. It doesn't matter what the situation is.
Oh, I don't disagree with you on that.
Whether Mason Miller comes in the third inning, whether he comes in the third inning, the seventh inning, the eighth inning, or the 10th inning, an inning is an inning. It doesn't matter when it is. It's an inning. It doesn't matter. Honoring the Padres, who cares about the frickin' Padres?
The Padres.
The season doesn't start until Thursday. Who cares?
No, I'm aware. I'm explaining to you why that took place.
The entire tournament.
He's overmatched. He shouldn't be a manager.
And he already said he wants to do this again. Kick rocks.
Yeah, no, he shouldn't. And this is just one element that is a major gaffe that we saw earlier in the tournament, that DeRosa's team was not prepared for the concept of they were playing in a game that they had to win to move on out of pool play, and they weren't ready for that. Therefore, it was up to chance and outcome of other games for them to advance in this tournament because he wasn't prepared, which if you want to roll this into that he wasn't prepared for every situation at the end of a ball game, then yeah, I'll go with you on that. DeRosa shouldn't be the manager. He shouldn't be a manager anywhere. And quite honestly, from this point on, who wants to listen to him on MLB Network? Honestly. Who, like, when you see, like, that's where I think
criticizing a manager from now on, I'm gonna question it.
That's
like
my
you said,
point.
yeah.
Is like you and I are a bit different sometimes when we see how things work out on the field, and then we hold that individual accountable when they go to the broadcast side of things.
Yeah,
and then they try and sell you a bunch of crap. Like the one that sticks out in my head is like Herm Edwards. I mean, he was terrible at ASU.
Yeah.
He was bad in the NFL as a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he pops up on TV everywhere telling every team how to do their business. And it's like, dude, you sucked as a coach. And I honestly, I will tell you right now, from my stance moving forward, that's how I'm going to think about that with Mark DeRosa. Every time that he pops up on MLB Network, I'm going to think to myself, yeah, you, buddy, you didn't know what you were doing as a manager for Team USA.
Yeah.
Like, how else can you look at it?
Yeah. And I'm done ranting on Mark DeRosa. I'll end on this.
Oh, that's it?
I'm done with Mark DeRosa. I'm done with Dan. No. I'm done being mad about it. See,
it's
I'll tell you this.
12:10 Eastern. Abdalla's done.
I'll end on this. Seeing Daniel Palencia from the Cubs getting emotional even before he threw the final pitch was one of the coolest things in sport I think I've ever seen.
You are aware that the thing that you are criticizing DeRosa and Team USA for, establishing how to use relievers based on outcome, was the exact same thing that Palencia, Team Venezuela, and the Cubs came to an agreement on, right?
I understand that.
Okay.
But it worked.
I'm just making sure you understand that
it worked.
It's the same thing.
But it worked for Team Venezuela.
But it worked, so
like
it's
it
different.
Worked. But you used a pitcher who had been great. Palencia had been one of the best relievers throughout the World Baseball Classic, and they used him in a high leverage situation because he'd been great throughout the entire tournament. So one of your best pitchers has been great throughout the entire tournament. Oh, let's use him in a high leverage situation because he's proven himself for the last 2 weeks. So let's use him. And they did. And it was awesome. And they won. And it meant so much to them. So it was great. Congrats to Team Venezuela.
Yes, congrats.
And Mark DeRosa,
yes.
Don't ever come around Team USA ever again.
Wow. You're banning DeRosa from being around the team.
Banned.
Wow.
Banned.
You don't want to talk to any of the players who didn't hit last night? Aaron Judge, you have any thoughts for Aaron Judge today? Nothing? Kyle Schwarber, nothing?
I've seen Aaron Judge do that in the playoffs before, too. So
okay. All right. There you go. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. The call and text line, 310-840-4910. Give us your thoughts on the World Baseball Classic. Do you agree with Abdalla that DeRosa should not be around Team USA anymore? Banned. You know, this is a big day here on this show. So yesterday we had the start of the NCAA tournament. The first 4 tipped off last night. We had 2 games. Texas moves on. Howard moves on. Get 2 games tonight. For all of your coverage, check out Westwood One Sports. Check out the Westwood One Sports app. Make sure you download it. You can find all of the games on the tournament and all of the conversation around the tournament until the Final Four and through the Final Four in Indianapolis right there on the Westwood One Sports app. You know, Abdalla, here on the show, you and myself are going to put together a bracket. So here on the show, each and every day, it's Bleck Abdalla, Raj Sharon producing the show, Laura Jimenez producing the show. So the 4 of us are here each and every day. So Laura, myself, and Abdalla, we are going to take on Raj. Raj is the almighty challenger with the bracket. and so what we've come up with here on the show, as we get set for the NCAA tournament tomorrow to officially begin with the field of 64, we are putting together our brackets. And Abdalla, you and I today on the show, we need to come to an agreement on the bracket. You, me, and Laura, we're putting together one bracket. By the way, Josh Graham is going to join us at about 12:40 Eastern time today. So in about 30 minutes or so, we're going to ask Josh to help us out with our bracket. We get Josh to help us with our bracket.
It's not going to take on Josh, too?
Yeah. Josh is going to help us out as well.
See, this is not
Raj
fair.
versus
It was
the
one
world.
thing to take on all 3 of you guys simultaneously. I was up to the task. But now we're bringing in the smartest college basketball guy I know, and you get him too? What are you guys, the Avengers?
Yes, we are assembling. We are coming together, and we are going to. What do they do in the Avengers? They take away the Affinity Stones. So we're coming for your stones, Raj.
I think
I don't know if I want to give up my stones.
I think this is like when Captain America gets his shield. I think that Graham is our shield.
Well,
Josh is our
Abdalla's
shield.
certainly
Okay.
not Captain America after that whole World Baseball Classic
Yeah,
run.
well,
So we know
of
that's
course
not
not.
your character.
Of course not.
Mark DeRosa is definitely not Captain America.
Okay. So we are going to today come together and put together our bracket to beat the Raj. All right. So here on the show, we have spent a lot of time behind the scenes coming up with production, audio production to go along with our concept here to beat the Raj. This is a big deal. We're going to chart this throughout the NCAA tournament. We're really excited here on the show for this segment called Beat the Raj. Okay. So here we go. The buttoned up official sounder to beat the Raj sounds like this.
Beat the Raj.
There it is, everybody.
All right.
There it is. The Bleck Abdalla, the official Beat the Raj sounder. Laura, give it to us again.
Beat the Raj.
Yep. See, there it is.
There it is.
Beat the Raj.
There it is.
Raj, we're coming for you.
I feel like
It's
my whole
Bleck
life is that sounder
Abdalla.
right there.
It's Laura, it's Josh Graham, and it's Tears for Fears against Raj. That's what it is.
Laura, one more time. Come on.
Beat the Raj.
I'll tell
Tears
you,
for
I
Fears
am
is really having a moment this
I am
year.
nervous
You know that?
here, and I'm rethinking my bracket now after hearing that. Very nervous.
You should. You should. So we can all agree we will officially submit these brackets before the show starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is that the agreement? Raj, are you cool with that?
To where?
I'm good with it. I'm good with it.
Well, we'll post it online for
Yeah,
those
okay.
who follow along with the show,
Sure,
and then we
sure,
will
sure,
update throughout the tournament.
We have to come together because you and I have some conflicting teams.
Well, yeah, of course.
That
We
is
got an
one thing in
entire
my
show
favor.
here.
I don't have anybody to argue with picks over. It's just me.
That is
you guys
that
all
is
get
the
on
one.
the same
yeah,
page.
you're only arguing with yourself.
Yeah, that is fair. That is a good point. As we are trying to beat the Raj.
You know,
That
I didn't
is,
know about this. I didn't agree to this when I knew Josh was going to be involved. Okay, that's like a whole
No
another
takesies,
story
backsies.
here.
Sorry. That's
Let's just
Using the
say,
Avengers reference, this is like the Hulk is now joining the team. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
wait a minute here.
Well, we're bringing in the big dogs today because also at 2:00 Eastern, Jordan Cornette will join the show.
I don't have to play
so
him
Jordan-
too.
Yeah, Jordan.
Well-
If Jordan gives us advice, we might have to add his advice to the bracket.
Why don't we
as
call
try
Coach
and
K
beat
while
the
we're at
Raj.
it and let him beat me too?
He's all you. You can have him. You can have Coach K. That's all you.
Duke's
I'm
my
going to
team.
beat the Raj.
I'm with Raj. It's
Raj.
me. It's me and Raj.
What's your major?
me and Raj?
Student reporter.
Me
Below me.
and Raj.
Laura, one more time. Come on. Beat the Raj.
Beat
So we'll keep you updated. We will let you know our final 4 picks, the Elite 8, and we will go head to head with Raj over the course of the
Raj.
Yes, exactly. See, that's the official sounder.
So
That's
dramatic.
the official.
No, that one.
sounder.
I don't know if I like that one. That one sounds too buttoned up. For us. That's
we need the Tears
who
for
made
Fears
that?
one.
Yeah, who made that? That's way too corporate.
It's professional.
That's too corporate.
It sounds fantastic.
That's
a
too
lot
corporate.
of work went into that one.
Who at corporate made that one?
That was a very nice. That was very well done.
That's corporate.
I think that is a very. Laura,
That's
play,
not-
play,
that's-
play the.
Whoa, what is that one?
Play that one
Let's
again.
hear that one again.
Beat the Raj.
Yeah, that's really professional.
That sounds like that should be on Rome's show. That's not for Bleck and that's not for Bleck and Abdalla. That's not for Bleck and Abdalla. That's for Rome. That's Rome quality right there. I don't know if that's for us guys. There you go.
There it is.
There it is.
Beat the Raj.
That's Bleck and Abdalla right there.
The Raj.
Clones.
Max Crosby spoke yesterday. He was on a podcast and he gave his side of the Ravens-Raiders fallout. It's pretty crazy what took place to have that trade fall through. We will hear from Max Crosby coming up next. Every March, the tournament delivers the unexpected. This year, DraftKings Sportsbook is leaning into the chaos with Mystery Reward.
When you're set to place your bet, just select your mystery token in the bet slip and use cash or DK dollars to lock it in. Opt in today at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code B&A. That's code B&A for Bleck and Abdalla. And opt in to claim your mystery reward at DraftKings Sportsbook. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. Must be 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. One reward per customer. Rewards vary and expire at the end of the final college basketball game. Each tourney round when offered. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos for more details.
The Broncos traded their first-round pick to the Dolphins for Jalen Waddle. Does the star receiver give Bo Nix the weapon he needs to push Denver to the Super Bowl? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
From the very start, when the Baltimore Ravens pulled out of the trade for Max Crosby, it sent up a flare where like everyone kind of looked at it, and especially in the day after that took place and over the weekend, when people looked at it and said, hold on, are they really going to land Trey Hendrickson? And we kind of looked at the conversation about the Baltimore Ravens and how they were setting up their offseason. And the Ravens tried to play it off like when Eric DaCosta spoke to the media, well, we were looking at both guys and we're going to bring both guys in here. Yeah, Abdalla, you called it out at the time. You were like, yeah, okay, buddy.
Yeah, sure you were.
I think that's what you said. I think you did that. The exact thing.
Yeah.
And so it smelled funny the entire time that the Ravens make the deal. They agree the 2 first-round picks to send to the Raiders, and then they get Max Crosby into the building, and then they don't pass his physical, thus pivoting, moving out of that trade, signing Hendrickson, and then keeping their 2 first-round picks that they traded away and building their team in that direction. So, like, we looked at it funny when it took place. And I think a lot of people around the NFL looked at it funny because, you know, some of the immediate aftermath of the trade fallout was other teams and other players saying, one, that the Ravens have done this before, and two, that each medical department and each individual team are different. And so just because the Ravens don't clear Max Crosby's knee, it is possible that a different team could look at it and say, no, we're okay with this. We're comfortable trading 2 first-round picks for a player coming off of knee surgery like this because X, Y, and Z. We have yet to hear from Max Crosby. And Crosby had a chance to talk on his podcast. And I think that's one of the major elements to the story over the last 24 hours is that it sounds like the way that Max Crosby perceived the situation was the exact same way that all of us who had nothing to do with this situation at all perceived how this went down.
Yeah, and he seems upset. He seems like he was caught off guard by everything, and it was all kind of fishy to him the moment he arrived in Baltimore. Everything was fishy. The moment he got off the plane, the moment he got to the Ravens facility, when he wasn't greeted by DaCosta, by ownership, by anybody. Now, I'm not going to compare apples to apples here and teams to teams, but you and I broadcasting out of Chicago, like when Max Crosby got to Baltimore, and he actually he flew into D.C. and then he had to take a car he was driven. He and his wife were driven to Baltimore.
It's first-class service.
First-class service, right? They flew him commercial, too.
Oh, that's just dandy.
Right? First class, but still commercial.
Tell someone you want them
Group
without
one?
telling them.
Group 1?
Group 1 boarding, yeah.
Group 1, I assume, right?
Yeah, probably.
I would assume. So he arrives commercial. He has to get in a car. He has to drive to Baltimore, which took what he claims is a couple hours. Got to Baltimore. And then wasn't even greeted by ownership or the GM.
Yeah, so let's listen to Max Crosby. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. The call and text line is 310-840-4910. This is Max Crosby yesterday on The Rush, his own podcast, talking about getting flown out to D.C.
They flew me to D.C. because there wasn't many flights. We flew first class. They flew me to D.C. because I was only straight through. We had to drive 2 hours from D.C. all the way to Baltimore after the 5-hour flight, bro. That it was weak.
Yeah, and so that's Max Crosby's perception of it. Raj Sharon producing the show, before the show, mentioned to us that he didn't think it was that strange. Raj, you can say it to us. I mean, You don't find this that strange that he flew into D.C. and then had to drive 2 hours to get to Baltimore?
I found it strange for somebody of his profile that didn't charter him in. But if he's flying commercial, I lived in that part of the country for a long time. It's not that abnormal because there's 3 airports all in the area especially if you don't want to change flights, for someone going to Baltimore to fly into Dallas, or somebody going to Dallas to fly into BWI. That's not that crazy if you're not trying to switch flights. Again, for somebody of Max Crosby's status, I would think he would just charter him a plane. But I don't think it was a case of the Ravens price shopped and they saved $100 on sending him into Dallas than BWI.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair way to look at it, Raj, especially being someone that's lived in that area. I think also you got to look at, this is a $1 billion franchise who just made a trade for an individual who theoretically is going to be their second best player.
That part caught me off surprise. If they had picked up a guy off of some team's practice squad, okay, that was the quickest flight to get him in. The dude you're trading 2 first-round picks for, I would think you'd find a way to make accommodations.
If you're a free agent signing this week,
yes,
right, the week after the week of the start of free agency, then I get the maybe the direct flight into an airport. That's
if the Ravens signed David Njoku, who visited this week, I would not be surprised if they flew him into Dallas.
Right,
if that was the most convenient flight to get him in.
Exactly, and so I think that's a logical way to look at it. And then you could also look at it from the perspective of, this is one of 32 teams, $1 billion franchise, the NFL. They got more money than anyone else. If you want to show out for someone and you want to impress someone, you fly them privately. And the other thing, I think people are aware that there are memberships that you can pay for these private flight companies.
Yeah.
The ones that
Wheels Up.
Yeah, they show them on all the different football broadcasts throughout the fall, right? You get Herb Street going from Dallas to this city to that city all in one day, and they're, hey, he's taking Wheels Up. You can do, teams can acquire the means to have someone flown privately if you want to.
Yeah.
Which I think is why Crosby was tipped off from the start that, okay, they couldn't find a direct flight directly to Baltimore, but then it's a direct flight to D.C., and then you got to get in the car, and it's 2 hours away. It's who do they think I am? Yeah, about Max Crosby, right?
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
So I think that's one side of it.
And
Here's
by the
Max
way, Black,
Crosby.
of note, the NFLPA report cards that came out recently, the Ravens were one of only 4 teams that got an A+ on ownership. An A+ on ownership. The Baltimore Ravens, one of 4 out of the whole league.
Yeah. I mean, it's so, but they don't, do they grade on flight availability?
Well, I think that might be the point
teams?
here of how they valued the
Well,
guy.
that's why I wonder if this whole thing was thought of before Crosby even got there.
Well, right. That's the point. So let's take a listen. Here's Max Crosby on his podcast, The Rush, talking about the interaction with the GM, Eric DaCosta, and Jesse Minter, the head coach, when he got to Baltimore.
I thought I was going to see him when I first got there. I didn't see him for 5 hours. I go and do my thing. At the end, they're like, yeah, I'll take you up. Joe was like, I'll take you up and you go see the head coach, whatever, just before you leave. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, that's what I want to say what's up to him. So I went back up. I dap him up, and they could just tell, like, the energy was a little bit off. And the GM was standing in, like, the hall, like, in the room next to me to the right. And that was the first time I seen him. And, I'm just in my head, like, this is a whirlwind. Like, I'm so excited, like, fired up. You know what I mean? Like, this is a new opportunity, whatever. And you could just tell the energy was off. Like, I dapped him up. He had, like, a blank face. And I'm like, okay, I'm not thinking anything of it. Maybe he's just different. I don't know. I don't know him, whatever. I go into the room. They sit me down on the couch, and he's like, man, I don't know how to say this, but, one of our doctors has concerns with the results and whatever. And, like, with your knee, like, some of them have, are concerned about the future and da-da-da-da-da. And, we really want you, and this is what it is. But, we're just going to have to get more and more opinions.
So that was the first interaction that Max Crosby had with the Baltimore Ravens front office and head coach, which, like, we all are in situations where you meet new people, right? And you can tell, like, you can always tell when you vibe with someone, when there's a connection. And you can always tell also when someone's cold and they want nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very obvious, based on what Crosby is saying, that he felt like something was up the moment he was there, and the way that they were approaching him in the situation.
Have you seen those videos of the people that, like, dap each other up in, like, an empty parking garage and it echoes and it's like the loudest thing in the world? That's how loud that dap should have been between Max Crosby and Jesse Minter, a defensive-minded head coach who just got the best defensive player on the market in free agency or trade available via trade.
Okay.
Like, that's how this should have gone. He should have known. Max Crosby should have known from the jump. The second he opened the door to the Ravens facility and Minter and DaCosta weren't at the front door, that something was up.
Yeah, like, here's what I think of when you say that is, if they had concerns based on what the doctor told them, and this wasn't something that's a conspiracy that we're suggesting that this was off before he even got to Baltimore, then the reception to the player is like, hey, man, we're so glad to see you. Our doctors are saying that there's a concern with your knee.
Don't worry about it.
But you're the man. Like,
Don't worry about it.
You try and build up the person, but, like, clearly it sounds like the Ravens were all in on something that they knew.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to actually pull this trade off, so let's treat him like dirt.
Yeah.
While he's here. So hopefully he doesn't want to be here either. And then when it gets out that we're going to pull out of the trade, he'll say, yeah, well, they suck, so I don't want to be there.
And the reports were that they were in communication with Trey Hendrickson while Crosby was there.
Yep.
That's what reports say.
So one last cut from Max Crosby yesterday on his podcast, The Rush. This is Max Crosby on how he found out the trade was off.
One of the Ravens guys called me and was like, yo, we're trying to figure this out. We're gonna get this done. Don't worry. Like 5 minutes later, CJ calls me. It's like, they're backing out. I'm like, holy. So I'm like frozen. I'm like, what the? I'm livid, confused, the whole 9 all in one. And so I told him, I'm like, I'm trying to get out of here, bro.
So that was Max Crosby on his podcast yesterday. And it does sound now like the Ravens never planned on keeping Max Crosby from the start. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today at progressivecommercial.com. We will get help on filling out our bracket for March Madness and the men's side of the tournament, and we'll get the expert picks from Westwood One Sports Night's expert on college basketball, Josh Graham. He's next with Bleck and Abdalla.
We are your official home of the NCAA tournament. Listen
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
The first four continues tonight. Make sure you download the Westwood One Sports app. You can listen to the tournament and all of the coverage right there on the Westwood One Sports app. Prairie View A&M and Lehigh get you started at 6:40 Eastern. And then Miami of Ohio takes on SMU at 9:15 Eastern. The final two games of the first four. And then tomorrow, Abdallah, we get the Field of 64, the bracket, the NCAA tournament. It all kicks off tomorrow.
Can't wait. So excited. It's the best 2 days of the year.
Let's bring in our friend Josh Graham. He hosts on Westwood One Sports Night, 11 p to 3 a Eastern here on Westwood One Sports. He's also our college basketball expert here on the show. He does a great job talking college basketball. And Josh, before we get things started, we need your help because Abdallah, myself, Laura here on the show, we are trying to beat the Raj with our bracket.
Beat the Raj.
So it's all of us taking on Raj Sharon producing the show. He has his own bracket. Josh, we need help. How are you, sir?
Doing well, and I'm glad, kind of like the Avengers, we could all come together and try to
So unfair.
come together for such a worthy cause.
I am
Yes, it
inevitable.
is.
Inevitable. Is that the line? I am inevitable, boys.
All right, so off the start, before we run out of time, Josh, with the help on the bracket, and we'll preview some of the games specifically. Is there a couple of teams that you see getting to the Elite Eight or the Sweet 16 that we should focus on to make sure they're on our bracket, so then we can get the maximum wins and points as this thing goes along? Because like we'll talk about some of the upsets here in the first two rounds, but really you win a bracket by getting to the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, and the Final Four.
The clearest paths that I see to the Elite Eight, Michigan, especially now that you don't have Aiden Holloway with Alabama. Sorry, Abdallah. You have a really clear path for Michigan to get to the Elite Eight. Obviously, that's pretty chalky. Houston, considering the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight will be played in H-Town, that's a big plus as well. Really like their path to get to the Elite Eight. A team that I have as a lower seed in the Elite Eight is Miami. Miami, this matchup, the most important matchup that's going to be played in round one is between Miami and Missouri. This game is popularly picked as a 10-7 upset because Missouri is playing in St. Louis, 2 hours away from campus in Columbia. But this Miami team, coached by Jay Lucas, has had a fabulous year in adding players that have pedigree, whether it be Renew, who comes in from Indiana, or Trey Donaldson that came from Michigan. This team has scoring. They have some really high-end talent like Shelton Henderson, who's a freshman. I think that's a team that, both those teams, frankly, that could give Purdue a lot of issues. And given that they're paired with a 3 seed and a 6 seed, both dealing with a ton of injuries, BYU, Richie Saunders out for the year, and it doesn't look like Braden Huff's going to return to Gonzaga. I think looking at that matchup really hard, those are the two teams that I look at, and they're playing each other that could make a run to the Elite Eight.
All right, so you took care of one team for me because, Josh, Chris has BYU in his Elite Eight.
Yes.
So I need your help convincing him that that's garbage.
Come on.
And then he also has Miami of Ohio in his Sweet 16.
Ooh.
So help me talk him out of this as we try to beat the Raj here, because those are ridiculous picks. Miami of Ohio might not even win tonight to get into the Field of 64.
They're not going to beat SMU tonight. I wish they would.
Really?
I wish they would, but they don't have anybody to stay
Josh,
in
it's
front
a
of
great
Boopie Miller.
decision. Tell them to send Miami of Ohio to the Final Four. They're going to hang
Boopie
out with
Miller.
them in Indianapolis.
That's correct. I might be hanging out with my guy, Boopie Miller. I'll tell you what. Boopie Miller, he can get buckets. This is a Miami of Ohio team that doesn't play a ton of defense. Let's not forget, the regular season finale was 100-100 at the end of regulation. I don't see anybody who could stay in front of Boopie. If they were healthier, I'd love it even more. I might even lay the number, but I think SMU is going to win the game tonight. But to Bleck's point, I don't think it's the strongest 6 seed that they're paired with. So I like SMU's chances against Tennessee in a round of 64 game. And heck, I think Miami of Ohio actually matches up better with Tennessee than they do SMU, strangely enough. So if you like Miami of Ohio tonight, It's not the craziest idea to get to the round of 32, but I still like SMU this evening.
Bleck, don't
Josh
let
Graham.
that shake you, man. Defense is overrated. This is a game of scoring. Send them straight to the Final Four.
Yes, thank you, Raj. Absolutely. As we try and beat the Raj with our bracket here on Westwood One Sports. Josh Graham. Yep.
Beat the Raj.
Josh Graham, Westwood One Sports Night, hanging out with Bleck Abdalla, breaking down the tournaments. Josh, how do you see the East region play out? What do you see there? Is it Duke all the way?
You guys want to do it before do you want to get it out of your system?
I'm Duke.
I'm going to lose to Michigan State.
Write my team down on your bracket.
Beat the Raj.
I think Duke got screwed. I do. I like TCU to beat Ohio State, but if it's Ohio State, that's the type of team that could give Duke a scare in the round of 32. I still think they get by there. I don't love the idea of one of the best tactical coaches in the history of college basketball, Rick Pitino, having a full week to prepare for you in DC. And then Michigan State. The last time DC held a regional, it was Zion Williamson facing Cassius Winston, Duke, Michigan State, and Michigan State won the game by 2. I think also go back to the meeting in December. The most important shot of that game was hit by Caleb Foster to put the game away. And Caleb Foster isn't going to be back for that, probably isn't going to be back at the tournament. So I think in a run-it-back setting, I'm going to lean on coaching, and I'm going to lean on the more experienced coach that has a cliche attached to him not to count him out in March. I think if it's Duke, Michigan State advances to the Final Four. That's what's in my bracket. But it wouldn't even shock me if Rick Pitino shocked Duke as well with Zuby in the middle.
All right, that's awesome. I've got Michigan State in my Final Four. All right, let's add some sex appeal to this bracket.
Whoa,
You've got TCU over Ohio State. Let's find some upsets. I've got USF over Louisville. I've got UCF over UCLA. Any other upsets? Do you like those? Any other ones we should be looking at here in the bracket?
And you know what they say? When they say Josh Graham, they say sex appeal.
Damn right they do. That's why he's on at night.
Sex
Those
sells.
sweet tones. Those sweet tones of a Josh Graham on Westwood One Nights.
That's why Raj says I'm only allowed to join if I join via video. My voice isn't enough. It's all about getting on the YouTube stream.
We got to
Bleck
see
and
it.
Abdalla. I like the USF upset. Mikael Brown Jr. ruled out this week for Louisville. That's a big deal. Even if he did play, I think USF's toughness level, I don't like either of Louisville's centers. I think USF wins that game. I like UCLA over USF and UCF in the example you gave there. I think UCLA, if healthy with Donovan Dent's going to be great. In terms of other upsets, I have a couple of 12s. I like McNeese over who's McNeese playing? They're facing Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt's a team a lot of people were high on because of how they performed in the SEC tournament. I think McNeese is a team that plays with a ton of toughness. They won a tournament game last year. I know with a different coach, but they still have a couple of guys back from that team. And about 30 minutes from where I sit right now is a team called High Point that has the longest winning streak in D1 right now. And the Big South isn't a terrible mid-major league. I think given how much they can score, with Wisconsin that also wants to just put up a ton of threes and score high-octane style, I think the style of play lends itself to High Point being able to win that game too. I think High Point upsets Wisconsin. And also, without Aiden Holloway in there, I'm going with the Hofstra Pride.
Wow.
Just because, again, Hofstra likes to get up and down the floor and get shots up. They're going to be comfortable with the pace. And without Holloway and some of the distractions that are there, give me Speedy Claxton's team. I'm also a little biased because Speedy joined the show last week.
Josh, before we let you go, Josh Graham joining Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. What do we make of Darren Peterson heading into the tournament? What do you expect from him, and what do you expect from Kansas?
Not a lot. Don't trust Kansas with him in the lineup. There are some analytics that suggest that they're better as a team without him in there because he's the type of player that demands the basketball so much. And given the lack of continuity that you usually get over the span of a season, this team's just mid, and it's hard to trust him in terms of how often he's going to be out there as well from a health standpoint. I don't think this is a team that gets through the first weekend.
And Josh, who's in your Final Four before we let you go?
3 Big 12 schools in Michigan State. I got Michigan State, Houston, Arizona, Iowa State, and I think it's going to be a rematch of the Big 12 title game in the championship, but Houston gets the best of Arizona. The third time's the charm for Kelvin Sampson. You know the expression, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. And I think Kelvin Sampson does not lose back-to-back years in the championship game, and he cuts down nets, winning the title in Indy.
Thank you, Josh. And as always, thank you for the sex appeal here on the Bleck Abdalla show. We appreciate you, Josh.
I am Duke. I am Duke.
There he is, Josh Graham, Westwood One Sports Night. You can listen to him 11 p to 3 a right here on Westwood One Sports. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla here on Bleck Abdalla. So there you go. Houston, Arizona for the championship game of the NCAA tournament. You and I need to figure this out before the show ends today as we put together our bracket as we try and beat Raj.
That was already in there, Houston, Arizona, before he even told us in mine. So
yeah, I've got both of those teams on mine as well. And I actually have Iowa State in the Midwest.
I had that blank still.
But I do.
Yeah.
What Josh was suggesting there with Michigan, Michigan's so tough.
Yeah, they are.
So it's tough to go against the Michigan Wolverines, but we'll try and figure it out as we try and beat Raj. Coming up next here on Bleck and Abdalla, what was the best trade in the NFL offseason to date? We'll do that right here on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Welcome in to Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM Channel 375, all of our great radio affiliates around the country as well. Live from Chicago, I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla on the air until 3 Eastern. The call and text line is 310-840-4910 if you want to join the show with Bleck and Abdalla, hanging out with you until 3 Eastern. A lot going on, getting ready for the NCAA tournament. The Field of 64 kicks off tomorrow. We'll talk to Jordan Cornette in an hour to preview the NCAA tournament. But Abdalla, one thing that I continue to look at with the NFL and some of the thoughts of the movement here in the offseason and trying to figure out what teams got way better, what teams didn't do enough, who's really ascending in the National Football League. This year, there have been a lot of trades that have gone down. And when we look at all of the different trades that have taken place and trying to figure out which trade was best, yesterday we saw the last trade that went down in the NFL. Jalen Waddle gets traded from the Dolphins to the Broncos, and the Dolphins acquire a first-round pick, a third, and they swap fourths. We've seen a lot of movement, especially with wide receivers getting dealt here in this offseason. So what is the biggest move and which move will have the biggest impact next season when we just look at trades specifically in the NFL?
Well, I think there's a lot of options here. Obviously, the one that is top of mind is the Jalen Waddle trade yesterday to the Broncos. The Dolphins get a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and a fourth-round pick swap with the Broncos. You mentioned the other wide receiver trade. The Bills traded with the Bears. The Bills get DJ Moore and a fifth-round pick. The Bears get a second-round pick. The Steelers traded for Michael Pittman Jr. from the Colts and a seventh-round pick. The Colts get a sixth-round pick. That helps the Steelers because now they have DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman. They also extended Michael Pittman, so that adds to them for the next few years. Those are the wide receivers that we've seen traded. The Cowboys traded for Rashawn Gary. So does that, do they end up at some point trading for Max Crosby? Does Max Crosby remain a Raider for the rest of the season? The Cowboys and Jerry Jones have said, we're out of it for now, but never say never. So there's still a lot of time before we get to the start of the regular season. So you never know with them. And then to me, the answer is this one. It's the Rams trading for Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs. And it was one of the ones that we saw very early in this free agency trade period. The Chiefs got a first-round pick, a fifth-round pick, and a sixth-round pick, and a 2027 third-round pick. A haul of picks from the Chiefs, or from the Rams, to the Chiefs for Trent McDuffie. And then the Rams, thank you. And then the Rams extended Trent McDuffie as well. And what's great about this, too, the Rams gave up their first-round pick. They also have the Falcons' first-round pick at 13. So the Rams can also add or choose to trade away a 13th overall pick because the Rams don't care about first round picks. It's what they've done. But the Rams had a great defense last year, except for their secondary. You could throw all day on the Rams, and it's what the Bears did, even though they ended up losing in that game. It's what the Seahawks were able to do. Every team knew that the Rams' weakness was, as long as you got the ball out quickly, whether it was Sam Darnold or Caleb Williams or week in and week out, no matter who it was amplified in the playoffs because those were the biggest games. You could throw on the Rams. Adding Trent McDuffie is huge because we talked about it yesterday, right around this time. Who are the best rosters in the NFL? Bleacher Report ranked the best rosters that they believe, and the number one roster in the NFL to them were the NFL Rams. Still, with Devontae Adams and the rest of and Puka Nacua and Matthew Stafford and the rest of that offense. But if you add Trent McDuffie to that defense, to me, that this makes them the number one contender to me to win a Super Bowl because this makes that defense that much better. This eliminates that weakness that they had all of last year in their secondary because you might not have been able to run on the Rams, but you could throw on them all day long. And that's what everybody did. And that's why they gave up so many points and so many yards is because as long as you had a quarterback that could throw and good wide receivers, Jackson Smith and Jigba, you saw Colston Loveland, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, all these guys, you could do it. And that's what the Bears did in the playoffs, and that's what ultimately they lost ultimately. But then you saw the Seahawks be able to do it in the playoffs in the games that they played, those high-scoring games that they played against the Rams. And they ended up beating them and going to the Super Bowl, and now they just solved that issue.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The move to Trent McDuffie for the Rams, it's a huge move because Trent McDuffie is one of the best corners in all of football. You lock him in that situation. You're right. The Rams' downfall was their pass defense and then also special teams last season. When we look at all the available trades, and you can join us on the call or text line at 310-840-4910, be a part of the show. I'm Bleck Abdalla. The best trades that have taken place here in the offseason. You know, if we're stacking the wide receivers, I think I'm going to go Dolphins, Broncos for Jalen Waddle as the best deal for the wide receivers. Then I will go Michael Pittman to the Steelers from the Colts as number 2. And then I will slot the Bills landing DJ Moore as number 3. And the Chicago Bears getting a second-round pick back. And essentially, the reasoning behind my thought of stacking those 3 wide receiver trades in that fashion is that I think Michael Pittman's going to be the best player. I think the best fit will be Jalen Waddle. And I think DJ Moore and the Bills will work for a year. But for what they gave up to then have to pay DJ Moore, I don't think he's going to live up to that. I don't think he's worth a second-round pick and the amount of money the Buffalo Bills are going to have to pay him moving forward. So that's the way I stack the wide receivers. And I like that you went with Trent McDuffie as the best one because that one caught my eye too. And it addresses a need, and he is a great player. Rashawn Gary from the Packers to the Cowboys, I think is also fascinating because Tom Pelissero, the night after the Max Crosby deal fell apart, said on NFL Network that if that trade didn't take place, the Cowboys would still be interested in Max Crosby, but they already made a trade for an edge rusher in Rashawn Gary.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a really good move too, even though it does feel like they asked a girl out to the prom and the backup girl said yes before the one they really wanted to ask. And now the Cowboys are kind of stuck in that position. Although I feel like they could still try and pull off a deal for Max Crosby as well.
Never say never.
The Texans trading for David Montgomery. What do you think of that move? I don't think really too much about it, to be honest. I mean, I think David Montgomery is a good back. I don't think that he's someone that's going to be 26, 27 carries, really being the guy that you run your entire offense through. And the Lions getting back Juice Scruggs and a 4th-round pick. I don't know. I don't really think there's too much to that deal that really moves the meter compared to the other one so far we've seen here in the offseason.
No, I mean, giving up a 4th-round pick and a 2027 7th-round pick, that 7th-round pick's a flyer anyway. If that guy even ends up making your roster, then great, you know. I think the 4th-round pick can be valuable as a rotational player, but David Montgomery is a tough runner and can take some pressure off of C.J. Stroud. But I do think going back to the wide receivers, I like the Waddle one, number one. I like the DJ Moore trade a little bit more than I like the Michael Pittman trade because I think it's more impactful just based on the team. Like, I don't think the Steelers are going to be that as good as the Bills. Like, I think the Bills are still the class of the AFC. I just think the Steelers are down as like the 4th or 5th or 6th team in the AFC just based on their roster. So adding him is great. As of right now, March 18th, as we sit here, they don't have a quarterback right now because Aaron Rodgers hasn't said yes yet. So we don't know. We're
still waiting.
We assume it's going to be yes.
Still waiting on Aaron Rodgers.
But as of right now, we don't know who's going to be throwing to Michael Pittman. But the rest of the roster just isn't as good. That puts the Bills over for me. And I know that the Ravens added Trey Hendrickson and you've got, Jalen Waddle. Even though they added Jalen Waddle, I like that trade better than the DJ Moore trade, but I still think the Bills are better than the Dolphins, obviously, than the Broncos. But that's because of the quarterback. Like, I still think that Josh Allen and the rest of that roster is going to end up being better than the Broncos. Like, they could end up meeting in the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens. Obviously, they didn't win last year, and Sean McDermott ended up being fired. They say because of it, but ultimately they probably just needed to move on because it was time. I think the DJ Moore trade is going to be, and you're right, the cost probably isn't going to be worth it moving forward. But for this year, if it gets them to a Super Bowl, it's worth it.
Who's the best player of the three? Jalen Waddle, Michael Pittman, DJ Moore. I feel like Waddle has the highest potential. Pittman has had the best production, and DJ Moore has been just solid.
I think it's DJ Moore.
You think DJ Moore is the best wide receiver out of that group?
Yeah, I think so. DJ Moore had, was it like close to 12 or 1,300 yards with Justin Fields and Tyson Bagent throwing to him in 1 year.
Okay. I think Jalen Waddle is on line one, and he would like to talk to Adam Abdalla. Have you seen the mess the Dolphins have had at quarterback the last couple of years?
Yeah, he had 900 yards with Tua and Snoop Huntley.
Yeah, and randos.
Okay.
They've had randoms.
Okay.
For the Dolphins.
I'll still take DJ Moore with Josh Allen over Jalen Waddle with Bo Nix. I'll go to battle with those two. And I'll
nothing for Pittman.
You take maybe Aaron Rodgers. We'll see.
Well,
maybe Aaron Rodgers.
If Aaron Rodgers plays,
okay,
he's not better than Josh Allen, so I'm not going to make that conversation.
45 years old.
Yeah, but he's better at this moment, if healthy. He's better than Bo Nix.
Whew.
He is. And let's not be stupid here.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, Bo Nix will pass him, no doubt. I'm not suggesting that that's not going to happen. But right now, if you get a healthy Aaron Rodgers, Michael Pittman could have a really good year.
He could. I would still take DJ Moore and Josh Allen over what I'm going to get from Bo Nix and Jalen Waddle.
Let's see. Pittman had 80 receptions. Jalen Waddle had 64 last season. And DJ Moore had 50.
Okay.
So, I mean, Pittman had the most receptions out of the crew.
Yeah, but you know what happened, what was going on last year.
Okay. Can't you make the same, like, if
you know what was going on, you know that they had Colston Loveland, and you know that they had Rome Odunze, and you know that they had Luther Burden, and
okay,
you know
you could
that
do that with all the teams.
Yeah, I understand that, but DJ Moore and Caleb Williams never clicked. They never got along. Like, it never
whose
worked.
Whose fault is that? Caleb Williams seems to get along with other guys.
It's both of their faults. I don't know whose fault it was.
Who's the one player who has consistently he has a mixtape of cut-ups where where he's like moping on the sidelines and walking
DJ
off
Moore.
of plays.
DJ Moore.
It's DJ Moore.
I understand that.
But if you're just looking at stats.
All I know is that at the second the new coaching staff got here, they drafted his replacement.
Of course.
Okay. So now he goes to a place with a better quarterback. We can all agree that Josh Allen's better than Caleb Williams.
But I think my pushback to your opinion on this matter is that you're pointing solely to the quarterback, yet both of the other players, Jalen Waddle and Michael Pittman, were in situations with bad quarterback play last season.
And I'm going to go with the best quarterback.
Like you gave me the backups that the Bears had.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Colts last season called Phillip Rivers off the street.
Yeah.
From the high school practice
Yes.
squads.
And so I'm going to go with the best quarterback. I'm going to go with Josh Allen. And that's why I think DJ Moore is the best addition.
I think they all had flimsy quarterback play last season. And that's why it's a relevant conversation. Waddle, Pittman, DJ Moore.
And that's why I'm going with DJ Moore and the best quarterback of those options. Because the best quarterback is Josh Allen.
I think Michael Pittman's the better player.
Doesn't matter. The better quarterback is Josh Allen.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. I think my goal each and every day here on the show is just to get you to yell at me. I think that's the key. I think that's what we're trying to do. It's outstanding. As we talk about the best trades of the offseason in the NFL, there's also the other thing to kind of keep your eye on with the NFL is the salary cap ready to explode? The NFL and CBS are talking for a new TV deal. And if that goes down, it's going to be like a $3 billion deal. The current deal is about $2 billion. This is going to be a $3 billion. It's a lot of money. The new deal could affect next season, though, in the salary cap. And they're suggesting that the salary cap in 2027 would explode if this influx of money comes in because CBS and the NFL are renegotiating a deal that they currently had. If that takes place, you could see an influx of money for next offseason. So maybe there's teams that didn't spend this offseason that have an eye on next season because they know salary cap will go up.
I could see that. I could also see what they do is now that quarterback money explodes because now you've got guys that are asking for $50 million a year, $55, $60 million a year, and now we're going into $70 million a year, $75 million a year because your quarterback is going to take up a certain percentage of your salary cap. And if they know that this is going to go up, the next class, the next highest ask of a quarterback is going to be, like, let's say Caleb Williams is the next guy and he hits all the marks for the Chicago Bears. He might be the next $70 million quarterback because the salary cap goes up. And that's just all of these contracts are going to continue to go up and up and up and up. And if the salary cap keeps going up, that's just the next rung on the ladder. That's just what's going to happen.
Are we buying the stock on Jalen Waddle with the Broncos? We'll talk about that coming up next. DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is built for March. The tournament is unexpected. Rewards are guaranteed.
DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering the most generous rewards in the market with DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook for live betting. You're not betting what might happen. You're betting on what's happening.
New to DraftKings, just bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code B&A. That's code B&A for Bleck and Abdalla. And turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. Must be 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bonus bets are non-cash credits that expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer ends April 5th, 2026.
The Broncos traded their first-round pick to the Dolphins for Jalen Waddle. Does the star receiver give Bo Nix the weapon he needs to push Denver to the Super Bowl? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Broadcasting each and every day live from the great city of Chicago. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla. Raj Sharon produces Bleck and Abdalla, and he joins us from Denver, Colorado. Colorado Springs, to be specific.
Oh, my gosh.
As Raj joins us now for Stock Watch. Hello, Raj. Was I not supposed to say that? Was that not supposed to be said on the air?
I think it was.
Stock Watch. Here we go. First up on
You're in the
Stock
mountains.
Watch.
You're a mile high.
You're a mountain man.
Yes, I am. All right, are we buying or are we selling some stocks? We're going to start with a couple guys that you just talked about, some wide receivers who've been on the move this offseason. Let's start with the guy who's joining me here in the hills, dodging Sasquatch, new Broncos receiver Jalen Waddle. Abdalla, you buying or selling?
Buy. Especially because he's not costing the Broncos very much. The Dolphins are eating some of the cap space on this contract, and he's obviously getting a better quarterback in Bo Nix. He's getting a better head coach in Sean Payton. I think it fits what Sean Payton and the Broncos do better than bringing in A.J. Brown. What he does for this offense will fit them better. I am buying all of the Jalen Waddle stock and what he will bring to the Broncos.
I'm with you. I think it's going to be a good fit. It's exactly what Denver's been looking for. And I think Jalen Waddle having a young quarterback that's actually pretty good to grow and develop with is a bonus. You know, Tua Tagovailoa didn't work with the Miami Dolphins. I liked him coming out of college. He couldn't stay healthy for some of this NFL part of his career with the concussions. But then also, it's just like it never clicked with Tua. So I'm going to buy the stock of Jalen Waddle with the Broncos. Raj?
All right, the next wide receiver, a guy near and dear to your heart, Mr. Black, new Buffalo Bills wide receiver DJ Moore. Are you buying or selling stock in DJ Moore?
Okay. He's gonna sell. So I'm gonna answer this one, Raj. So Chris is selling.
What?
Because he hates DJ Moore.
That is not true. I don't hate him. I don't hate DJ Moore. He was a very good Bears wide receiver. There's nothing wrong with it. He just sometimes he quits on plays.
You got a tribute graphic and a tribute video from the Chicago Bears.
He was worthy of a video and a graphic.
I'm going to buy the stock on DJ Moore. I'm going to buy it because I think he's going to have a great season this year with the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. So I'm going to buy the stock. I don't hate DJ Moore. I just wish when he played for the team that I root for that he would finish his routes. That's it. I'm asking for a small little thing. Small thing, wide receiver finishing routes. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just a small little thing that I'm asking for a wide receiver.
This is my team that I think is going to win the AFC. So I know it's going to be, the Broncos are the favorites. So I guess it's not chalk to go that way, but the Ravens are the favorite.
We know how you feel about chalk, Abdalla.
Yeah, I know. I have to buy because it's an expensive buy because that contract is kicking in. So I'm going to go with, I'm going to buy. I'm buying right now. I think he's going to do really well with Josh Allen because he's the best quarterback in the NFL.
Let's stick with you. Final receiver of the three we were just discussing, Michael Pittman Jr. heading to Pittsburgh. Are you buying or selling on Pittman?
Okay, so
walk it back. Here's Abdalla. Walk him back.
No, I'm not walking it back. I really like Michael Pittman Jr. I really like him. I think that this is going to be he's in a very good situation here. I just don't think that the Steelers are going to be as good as the Ravens, the Broncos, the Bills.
But they don't have to be for him to have a good season.
I understand that. But you make this move in order to put you ahead of those teams and to give you a chance. And we don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers yet. We don't know when he's going to report. We don't know any of this stuff. So right now, I'm staying away. I'm selling. Can I neither buy nor sell? I'm selling. I'm selling right now on Michael Pittman Jr.
Raj, I'm going to buy Pittman because I'm going to buy all of these wide receivers that we were just talking about in the last 10 minutes with their new places. And I think the fact that Pittman has had 2 seasons already with the Colts where he went over 1,000 yards, I think he'll get back to that plateau, and he will be the number 1 wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers this upcoming season with the Steelers. I get it. Abdalla laid it out. We don't know. I think he's going to play. I feel like if Rodgers was going to retire, we would have heard about this by now. Right? Like, Rodgers has appeared. He's been out there. He was on the Pat McAfee show like 2 weeks ago. If he was going to retire and not play again, we would have already known this. So
You would think he would tell them by the draft, right?
I'm going to buy the Michael Pittman stock because I think the former USC wide receiver will have a great season with Aaron Rodgers.
All right, from the traded
There
wide
it is.
receivers to some budgeted signings, let's start in Kansas City, where Hollywood Brown has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Chiefs. Bleck, you buying or selling on Hollywood Brown?
I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy this as well. And Raj, this might be a dated reference, but do you remember back in the day at Walmart or Best Buy, there was the dollar bin of DVDs?
I think they still have it. I think
Do
they
they
still
still
have the
have
dollar
that?
bin
Are
you
if you
buying
go
Never
to
Been Kissed
Walmart.
right now?
Yeah. I'm because
Oh, by the way,
you walk
I messed
by,
up. I said going to the Chiefs. I meant going to the Eagles. He was on the
Yes,
Chiefs
yes,
last year.
to
He's
the
going
Eagles.
You know what I meant.
At some point, you walk by and you grab one of those dollar DVDs, and it turns out to be a decent movie. So I'm gonna buy Hollywood Brown with the Philadelphia Eagles, and we'll see what happens with AJ Brown. And at some point, they're going to trade him here in the offseason, I think.
Yeah, I'll buy. I mean, can't hurt to have someone else besides Saquon. So sure, okay, fine. Not Saquon, but to take over for AJ Brown if he does move along here. So that's fine. I don't think he's going to have the same production. I mean, he had 2 less touchdowns. AJ Brown only had 7 touchdowns last year. So having 5 touchdowns last year, I assume he's going to have have a little bit better production, maybe. But I think they're gearing up for an AJ Brown trade. I don't think this is as good of a replacement. They'll probably try to draft a replacement as well, but you need bodies to replace AJ Brown if you do plan on trading him. So, okay, fine. I'll buy. I'm with you. I will buy because you're right. This is Never Been Kissed. This is Super Troopers. This is anything in that dollar DVD bin.
I don't think that my favorite one that I purchased, I don't think I can say the name of the title of the film on radio.
Oh, no.
It's a film starring Tom Green.
Oh, yeah. No.
Freddie.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, well, you can say the got part.
Yeah. Which, by the way, underrated classic comedy.
Daddy, would you like
There you
some
go.
sausages?
I think mine is Fanboys, if you've ever seen that with Kristen
yeah.
Bell
Oh,
and Seth
Fanboys.
Rogen.
Yes.
I remember
Yes.
getting that out of like one of those dollar bins at Walmart once. All right.
It's fun.
Another budget signing, this one for the 49ers wide receiver Christian Kirk. Relatively healthy early in his career, missed some games the last 2 years, presumably replacing Brandon Ayuk. The substation, all of that playing in. What are we doing here, Abdalla? We buying or selling some pretty inexpensive stock on Christian Kirk?
Again, we're buying, we're in the dollar spot. Why not? Blue light special. You got to have bodies when the ACLs start to tear. So that's fine.
I feel like we are the leading show in America that just goes, the substation.
I don't think we are.
Every
We are
day bring up,
perpetuating
the
this
substation.
I don't think we are. I don't think if you're as chronically online as we are, I don't think we are because
I'm trying not to be.
Everyone brings up substation jokes. It's the thing now. And if everybody's talking about it, it's there. Where there's smoke, there's electrical fires at the substation. Okay? And you need as many bodies as possible because with the 49ers, injuries aren't inevitable. It's not a pendulum that swings back and forth. 1 year they're hurt, 1 year they're not. It is just dead on one. It is stuck on one side of always hurt.
Oh, I was going to say, no one's died yet.
No. It's just always on one side of always hurt.
Christian Kirk, I'm buying. And I'm afraid of this stock watch, Raj, because all I've done here is sit here and
Spend money.
buy.
Yeah, you're running out of money here.
I'm buying everything. I think a lot of these wide receiver moves, these players in the new spots,
cheap.
They're going to be, but they're also going to be productive. Christian Kirk, Mike Evans with the 49ers, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to buy.
All right, guys. You know, we're going to lead with Abdalla on this one because I really want his reaction on this one. Are you buying or selling stock on the very well-rested Padres closer, Mason Miller, Abdalla?
Oh, I'm buying stock in him. It's not his decision not to play. He's not sitting there saying, I'm not going to play. He was ready. He's available. He doesn't go to Mark DeRosa and Andy Pettit, the pitching coach, and say, hey, guys, the Padres said I can't pitch tonight. or I'm only available in a save situation and not when it's another situation and I can't pitch in the 8th inning or in the 7th inning. I can only pitch in the 9th inning if it's a save situation. No, Mason Miller's been the best reliever they've had all World Baseball Classic. He's ready to go. Buying stock in Mason Miller. Are you kidding me?
I'm going to sell the situation. I think that...
Well, he's in the last season of Jersey Shore, so I don't think you can sell the situation right now. We're talking about Mason Miller.
I see what you did there, Abdalla. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, Raj. That's enough from Abdalla.
I'll turn my mic off the rest of the segment.
You gave us a Jersey Shore the situation reference
It's the
there.
last season.
Boy.
It's the last season.
End of an era.
End of an era.
I'm stunned right now.
It's the last season.
I'm good for that. Congrats.
You know they're still on?
All right. We'll move it along. Next up,
Did you know that they were still on?
Oh my gosh.
Jim
Notre
Tan
Dame
Laundry.
running back Jeremiah Love. He's popping up in mock drafts to Abdalla's second favorite AFC team, the Tennessee Titans. Are we buying or selling potential number 4 overall pick Jeremiah Love, Bleck?
I'm going to sell at 4 overall because if you're taking a running back at 4th overall in the NFL draft, that player has to be a Hall of Fame level player. And that's a lot to live up to. And that's not a critique on Jeremiah Love. I think he's an awesome stud player. It's just that is so high to go running back when it's a position that you can kind of figure out as you go along later in the draft, through free agency, by committee, all this different stuff. So I'm going to sell at 4 Jeremiah Love.
I agree with you. I'm not selling the player because I think Jeremiah Love can be a great player.
I mean, you take him at 4, he's got to be a LaDainian Tomlinson, right? Like that's the level of player he's got to be. Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
That's like what he has to become.
Yeah, but I'm not taking him in the top 5. I'm not taking him in the top 10. I will take him in late first round, early second round. Not taking him in.
Well, that's not going to be the case because that's the reason why Kansas City went and spent on Kenneth Walker is because they didn't think he would get to 9.
I understand that.
So, I mean, 4 is crazy to me. If he dropped to like 8, that to me would be more reasonable.
My philosophy as a GM is I'm not drafting running backs that high. I'm just not doing it. I'll draft an offensive lineman to make my running backs better. That's what I'm going to do. So selling on drafting him that high, not selling on the player.
All right, Abdalla. Well, here is a high value position, quarterback. From your Alabama Crimson Tide, are you buying or selling? Ty, don't call me Homer Simpson.
I think I'll buy some Ty Simpson because only if he's drafted late in the first or in the second round to sit for a year. Ty Simpson ain't ready to go out there and start this year. Like, you can't put him behind a bad offensive line and expect him to, like, develop this year. If he goes to the Steelers and sits behind Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy can develop him for a year, and then he goes out and can play next year in 2027, okay. I could see him working out and maybe developing into a decent quarterback. He's not going to be, I don't think he's going to be a Hall of Famer like Aaron Rodgers. I just think he needs time. He's not one of these go out and start right away type of quarterbacks. I think he can be decent if he sits for a year and goes to the right team. I think if the Jets draft him at whatever we saw yesterday in Mel Kiper's draft at 16 and he goes out and starts, no thank you. It just depends on where he's drafted, but I will buy Ty Simpson stock.
Raj, did you just channel Chris Berman?
A little bit,
in giving us Ty, don't call him Homer Simpson.
John Kitten and Caboodles. Yeah, had a great one.
I feel like that just sparked an idea for the NFL draft. Bleck Abdalla will be there for the NFL draft. I think the challenge to Raj should be he should have to come up with a Berman nickname for every player in the first round.
I could do it.
Oh,
probably
of the NFL draft.
Quite frankly.
That'd be great.
Like, how hilarious would that be?
That would be great.
If we just on Friday after the first round, we run through all of the different nicknames that Raj has come up with for the players that were selected the day before. All right, put a pin in that. Let's do that when we
That's
get there.
That's a great idea.
I'll buy Ty Simpson. Raj, to answer your question as I'm filling time, I'll buy that stock because I think he will be successful in the NFL. I just don't think he's going to be a top-level elite starter, but I think he will be successful in the NFL.
All right, and finally, Abdalla Dollar Bill, y'all. See, I already did it. You go first on this one. Are you buying or selling stock in me as you guys all team up to beat the Raj.
Beat the Raj.
All right, I'll be honest here, Raj. I'm going to buy a little bit stock in you. I think there's
like
too
it.
many. I think there's too many cooks in the kitchen here. I think there's too many
that
minds.
is my best hope here is you guys cannot come to a consensus
Yeah, I
on
think
things.
there's too many minds at play. I've already, I was looking at my bracket, and I've got Bama winning a couple games, and Josh Graham, who joined us a little bit ago, he's got them losing to Hofstra in the first round.
Bleck's got
and,
Miami of Ohio in the Elite Eight.
Yeah,
Well,
Chris has got.
I know, and Josh crushed my soul.
He's
with
got them
that.
losing tonight.
They may
Chris
not
has got
even win.
BYU in his Elite Eight. I've got them winning one game and then losing to Gonzaga. Like, we've got too many cooks in the kitchen here. So I think you've got one mind and one heart, and clear eyes, full hearts can't lose. So I think that I'm buying some stock in you.
Listen, Coach Taylor, I'm going to buy stock in the Bleck and Abdalla team, and all of our minds put together will try and take down Raj, beat the Raj. Yeah.
Beat the Raj.
That does it for a eventful stock watch today, fellas.
Yes. Thank you, Raj. We appreciate it here on Bleck and Abdalla. Bleck and Abdalla is sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. All right, the call and text line, 310-840-4910. I want you to think about this and hit us up. What is the best day to call off work because of sports? I've got some options for you, Abdalla. I think there's one coming up maybe tomorrow. The best day to call off work because of sports. Call and text line 310-840-4910. We'll talk about that next.
Follow the big wave of free agency. Who are the favorites to make it to LA for Super Bowl 61? And who has the most work to do heading into the NFL draft? We're breaking down the big news and what it means for your team on Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. You can watch the show live on YouTube, and we have new content posted daily. So make sure you like and subscribe to our new YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. Each and every day, we're broadcasting live right now. The live stream is up, so you can check us out on video right there, YouTube, Bleck and Abdalla Show. That's the new channel. Like and subscribe. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Tomorrow is the start of the NCAA tournament, the Field of 64. And when I was thinking about tomorrow and Friday, I feel like Thursday and Friday, the first 2 days of the men's tournament, are two of the biggest days for people to call off work because of sports. Not because they have a vacation planned or they got to do this or the kids need to go here or they got a dentist appointment. There's all kinds of reasons to call off of work. But because of sports specifically, I feel like Thursday and Friday of this week are the two biggest days that people utilize their PTO and they take a day off of work to then go watch college hoops in the bar and hang out with their friends or just sit at home and watch college basketball all day long from like noon until 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
You've got basketball on. So you can call and text the show at 310-840-4910. I want to know, what is the day, the best day to call off work because of sports? Here's the rest of my list. And then I want to hear your opinion on these thoughts. So I'm going to say first on the list, Thursday and Friday of the NCAA tournament. I think a lot of people do that. I would also add to the list the Monday after the Super Bowl. That's on the list. Here's one that I think is right around the corner, a couple weeks from right now. In your city with your favorite team, you call off work for opening day in Major League Baseball. So whether it be your home opener for your favorite team or if you get a chance to travel somewhere to see opening day somewhere else, I feel like opening day in Major League Baseball is a big day. I've got one other on my list, and I'll take your suggestions at 310-840-4910. This one I think is a little outside the box. It might be my favorite. When we get to the fall and the Major League Baseball wild card round is taking place, there are day games. The wild card round of the Major League Baseball playoffs, there are day games, playoff games. Taking off for work to go see a day playoff game in the wild card round, I think that's the best day you can call off of work because of sports. That day. Because the weather is still pretty good, middle to end of October. Your team's in it. The atmosphere is outstanding. That to me is the best.
Yeah.
The day off to go see a baseball playoff game played in the day. That's the best one.
Yes. So to me, I will rank them this way. I will rank them number 1, Thursday and Friday of the NCAA tournament. That's this Thursday and Friday.
The very two best.
Very two best.
Yeah, combination.
I'll put Friday 1, Thursday 2, because I feel like Friday you get the long weekend.
Okay, all right. Or you double it.
Yeah, you could. I mean, listen, if you want to use all your life, if you want to do both, that's fine. That's cool. If you got all those days, listen, take them. Number 2 would be, to me, and I thought of it before you even said it when you said it last segment, is the fall baseball game. If your team is lucky enough to get to the playoffs. Now, a lot of the times, your team isn't good enough to do that, so you just say, I'm going to go to opening day. Like if your team, like if you and I are broadcasting out of the city of Chicago, you and I are White Sox fans, we'll go to opening day. Because we know we're not getting to the playoffs. So we will go to opening day if we're going to choose to take a day off to go to see a baseball game. We would go to opening day. If we were Cubs fans, maybe we would wait to go see a playoff game. The one that I do not understand, unless your team is in it, is the day after the Super Bowl. I don't understand why you need the day after the game.
Everyone says that's the day that they want off.
Why?
Everyone wants that day off.
The game's done at like 8 o'clock. It's not like the game is done at midnight and
People
everybody's
are getting hammered, Abdalla, for the Super Bowl. Hammered.
In what world?
In this world. In this country.
I understand.
People are hungover. They don't want to go to work the day after the Super Bowl. Super Bowl parties. You got to drive home late after the party.
I hope not.
Well, if you're going to a party. I'm saying if you're drinking, get someone else to drive you. It's still a commute. You got to commute from the party home.
Well, guess what, people? Lucky for you, your prayers have been answered. This year's Super Bowl, well, next year's technically 2027. This season's Super Bowl is on Valentine's Day, so start planning now and get ready to tell your wife or significant other that you're going to be busy on Valentine's Day because the Super Bowl's on Valentine's Day.
What is this voice you're doing?
It's going to be the worst thing that you're going to hear. Everybody's going to be doing bits about it, how the Super Bowl's on Valentine's Day, and get ready to hear it from your significant other.
A bit about
I know. It's the bit about the bit.
Okay.
The next day is President's Day. You already have it off. It's already built in for this upcoming season. It's built in. You have President's Day off. I'm looking at it right now. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it.
Yes, I see. Yes.
Look at it.
I see it on your yes. You
Look
just
at it.
yes. I see.
Look at it.
It's the day after, correct?
It's right there.
The 14th and the 15th of February.
President's Day.
Correct.
So get hammered up. Don't drive. Take an Uber.
Of course.
So cross that one off for this year.
Okay, so you don't think that that's a viable one?
I don't think it's a real one.
Why are you so angry about it?
Because that's not a real day. There's nothing going on that day that you take the day off for. If the Super Bowl was on that day, sure, take the day off.
Yeah, I mean, maybe my perception of these things are different. You know, we live in a cold weather city. We live in Chicago. I always feel like a day off in February or January is like a wasted day. Like if you get that day off in nice weather, then it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But because like the weather here is terrible that time of year, it's like, what am I just going to sit at home today? Like,
sure. Look, if your team is in the Super Bowl and you're traveling and you got to like get back and all that kind of stuff, you're taking the day.
Oh, it's great.
You're taking the day.
I think it's very underrated. The Major League Baseball opening round day game, taking the day off of work. That is such a great feel. The vibe of that situation. So you can text the show at 310-840-4910. What's the day that you mark on the calendar and you say, okay, that's the day off of work. I'm not going to work because of sports. And I can't wait to partake in that singular day. And if Abdalla's wrong and you want to yell at him for yelling at you about the day after the Super Bowl, you're also welcome to call us as well. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We have our bracket challenge with Raj. Beat the Raj taking place. Yep.
Beat the Raj.
And we need to come up with our bracket here before the end of the show as we're trying to narrow down which teams we're going to have to the Elite Eight, which teams will get to the Final Four, and who our champion will be. It's Bleck Abdalla. Laura producing the show each and every day with Raj is on our team as well. The three of us taking on Raj. Beat the Raj. And Abdalla, we will talk to Jordan Cornette at 2 Eastern to help us out with our bracket and to talk a little college basketball.
Longtime guy, Jordan Cornette, one of our good friends. And I think I'm safe. We should put in Houston and Arizona in our Final Four.
Houston, Arizona. I'm okay with that.
Let's put Houston and Arizona all the way into our Final Four.
All right, move them all the way in.
All the way into
Sure
our
you
Final
guys want
Four.
to do that?
Yeah,
All right,
Raj?
get out of here, Raj.
Easy,
Get out of
Raj.
here,
Sure.
Raj.
I think we're going to have some speaks, though, about the Midwest. What we're going to do in the Midwest.
Yes, the Midwest and maybe the East.
With Michigan,
Yeah.
with Iowa State.
Yeah.
The possible upsets to get to that point.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Am I sold to Miami, Ohio? Are they really not going to win tonight? We'll talk to Jordan Cornette.
They're winning.
We'll
They're
preview
winning.
the NCAA tournament coming up next here on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Welcome in to Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Also, SiriusXM Channel 375 and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla, broadcasting live from Chicago. We're on the air until 3 Eastern, and then Jim Rome will take over right here on Westwood One Sports. The call and text line is at 310-840-4910. We're talking some hoops as the tournament, the field of 64, tips off tomorrow, Abdalla. We have 2 more games tonight in the first 4 games of the NCAA tournament.
Can't wait. Miami of Ohio, they went undefeated during the regular season. Does it end tonight? I hope for your sake.
Well,
it does or doesn't. Because
I'm trying to suggest that they get to the Sweet 16 in our bracket.
I don't know how that's going to work. They're at 6.5-point underdog tonight. Maybe not.
Let's talk to an expert, our good friend Jordan Cornette. He does great work for NBC covering the NBA. He also works for Westwood One Sports. He'll be covering the NCAA tournament. He'll be in St. Louis for the Friday and Sunday matchups of the NCAA tournament. And you can listen to all of the tournament coverage right here on the Westwood One Sports app. Jordan, as we bring you into the show, good to talk to you. And also, when you look at the games that you're covering, we've heard a lot of people kind of point to Purdue as a possible team that can make a run to win the championship this year.
Yeah, Bleck and Abdalla going national. It's good to be back with my guys. We obviously have a long history, my friends, and it's fun to be talking in the best time of the year. Purdue it's funny how the narrative has shifted so quickly, guys. I mean, people are so down on this team. They had lost more in Mackey Arena than we've become accustomed to. This was a preseason number 1 in all of college basketball because they brought back a core 3 of guys that were so very important to what they do, and Trey Kaufman-Renn, Braden Smith, and Fletcher Lawyer. And those guys, all 3 of them, even Braden Smith, had been inconsistent at times, but this group put it together going through that march through the conference tournament, the Big Ten tournament, where now all eyes are back on them. Can they take that momentum into this tournament? The true X factor is Fletcher Lawyer. When he hits 14 to 15 points a game, he's touching the game in other ways. He's their biggest X factor. Is he their best player? No, honestly, he's probably their 5th or 6th best player. But when he's contributing like that, and he plays like he's their 3rd best player, which he was expected to be, this group just looks that much more dynamic. Fletcher Lawyer, the X factor for this group.
Jordan, you're also going to be getting a look at Iowa State. Should they meet up with Michigan? Is this a team that can take down a number 1 seed in Michigan and make it to the Final Four?
Yeah, they got a great shot. You know, Abdalla, this is a group that, you know, when you think about Iowa State, you think about their guards. They got great guards, and I especially love Taman Lipsey. But their defense is what everyone talks about with Iowa State, and rightfully so. They're really great defensively. They win the possession battle by turning you over, it gets them out in the open floor. Joshua Jefferson, excuse me, still in football mode. I don't know how I could be right now. Joshua Jefferson is as tough a matchup as any in college basketball. And his size, his physicality, but he's got a guard-like skill. He's got a malleable body, so he can get to different spots on the floor. But it's the three-point shooting of Iowa State that has been the difference this year with this group. They spread you out. They space you. Momcilovic is deadly. This group, with how they guard, coupled with the three-point line, but not a heavy reliance on the three, just really good there. But they play in space. Iowa State is a team that can very well go to the Final Four this year. I do have them meeting Michigan. I just happen to like Michigan a lot this year, having seen them a bunch.
Jordan Cornette hanging out with Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, previewing the NCAA tournament. Jordan, what's the number one storyline you've got your eyes on as we head towards tomorrow and the start of the Field of 64? Is there something that jumps out to you?
I think it would have to be the health of Duke, just because they're the overall one seed. I think they're the most talented team in this bracket. If they're fully healthy, I think it's Duke's the front runner. I mean, obviously, the overall one seed, you kind of have them that way. But if Gongba is healthy for this group, I mean, look, they've got a load of talent. We know what Cam Boozer provides, but Gongba down low for this group, he's their anchor defensively. I mean, he provides an element, a measure of toughness that is lacking outside of Boozer with this group as an interior guy. So if Gongba and Foster are able to go, Duke is the team to beat in this tournament. If you're without Gongba in this group, they could lose in the first weekend. And now, like, if you run into an Ohio State that is feeling the vibes of beating TCU, playing their way into this tournament, you know, Bruce Thornton goes off. Christopher Tilly has size down low and is skilled. That could be a problem for Duke because crazy things happen in this tournament. But if Gongba is healthy and is a go, and I don't know what's changed since I landed here in St. Louis, but if he is a go, I still believe Duke is the best team in this tournament and a team that's going to win the national championship.
Okay, so what do you think about a team like Houston, who went there last year and they're a 2 seed this year? Do you think they have a chance to get back to a national championship game this year?
No question, but it's a different team. I had a couple of their games this year. Got to be down there and spend time with Coach Sampson, who I believe is one of the all-time greats in our business. The culture that he's built there, the identity that his group has had, no matter what's going on with the transfer portal and NIL, he stayed true to who his group is. That being said, it's different this year because, yeah, the identity is still defense. You talk about a guy that truly preaches you have to win the possession battle to win games. He is, I mean, nuts and bolts. He gets down to how you throw a chest pass, how you throw a bounce pass. Ball security is everything to their group, and obviously they like to get after you and take it away. Differences this year, I think they're better offensively than they've been in other years, and they're a tick worse defensively. And the reason why is they've got two freshmen in the lineup. Kingston Fleming is a lottery pick. Kristen Ack is a lottery pick. But these are two freshmen, and they play massive roles at the 1 and the 4-5 spot for this group. And sometimes those freshman mistakes, they show face. And this is a group that can go in scoring lulls in games. The offense can be stuck in third gear. There can be defensive lapses we're not accustomed to seeing. But when they're humming, they're one of the nation's best. Problem is they've run into some inconsistency down the stretch here, bleeding into March, and it makes me a little bit uncomfortable, especially with some of the other teams in that bracket. I just watched Vanderbilt dismantle Florida in the SEC tournament and get to a championship game there in Nashville where they got bested by a really good Arkansas team. I look at Nebraska, a historic season for them. They're in pursuit of their first ever tournament win. These are teams in that South that could be dangerous if Houston's able to get that far.
Jordan Cornette on the phone with Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Jordan will be on the call of the games from St. Louis on Friday and Sunday here in the first round of the NCAA tournament, and all of the coverage can be found on the Westwood One Sports app. Jordan, when we look at the tournament overall, is there a team that people are talking about that you think might be primed for an upset? Someone that maybe they will not perform to the level of the amount of attention that they've received to this point leading up to the tournament?
Oh, that's a good one. Florida is a 1 seed, right? Florida, a lot of people have them. A lot of people have them going to the Final Four. I vacillate between, you guys know how these brackets go. I vacillate between them going to a Final Four, and I vacillate between them losing to Clemson. Like that is where Florida is at right now. I don't trust their guards. I just think that this Florida team, their front line is incredible. It is deep. It is physical. It gives you a little bit of everything. When you throw Houck in there, who's a 3-4 hybrid guy, another guy who's a first-round talent, they overwhelm you on the backboard. But their guards do some stuff sometimes that it's just confounding to watch. They take some bad shots. They force the issue. They don't get their bigs enough touches. In transition, they can have some unforced errors. I just think Florida, it's really hard to go back-to-back. They had a great year last year. They've had a great year this year. But Clemson and Brad Brownell, with how they guard and how they switch things and how they throw different defensive looks at you, how fundamentally sound his group is, I don't know. I got a funny feeling about that second-round matchup with Florida and potentially Clemson. And then beyond that, yes, it will be the third time Vandy and Florida play if Vandy gets there to that second weekend and plays Florida. But we just saw what Vandy did to them. Now, Florida did that to Vandy, Florida and Vandy also played close earlier in the year, 98-94. So I'd be more inclined in a rubber match to go ahead and take Vanderbilt if Vanderbilt and Florida see each other again. And if not Vanderbilt and you like Nebraska, well, I think Nebraska, with how they spread you out, how much experience is on that group. Sam Hoiberg is a guy who went from walk-on to fierce on-ball defender. Rink Mast is a fifth-year guy who's played a lot of basketball, who steps out and hits the three. Price Samford is a first-team all-conference guy. They load it up offensively. They play fast. They can play different tempos. I think Florida's got their hands full coming out of the South. So I think Florida should be on upset alert. Not first game, but second game, third game, potentially. Yeah. I look at that as troublesome.
Jordan, you also do a great job of covering the NBA on NBC. AJ Debonsa for BYU is presumed to could be the number one pick in this year's NBA draft. How far can he take BYU, who's going to face Texas, who won last night?
If somebody had them going to the Elite Eight and playing Zona, I wouldn't be mad at them. I currently have them playing.
The guy to my left right now has them in the Elite Eight in his bracket.
Black, I am mad at you. I'm sitting here right now, and I never fill out my bracket until the very last minute because I go over so many different iterations. And I'm actually I can't remember who said it, but somebody in the NBA just said, you can only do one. It was Tyrese Halliburton. So you should only do one bracket. Stand on it. Like, stand on the one bracket. So that's what I try to do. And I'm stuck here with BYU and Purdue. I don't know who comes out of that one. I do believe that BYU is going to get out of the first weekend. I think they're going to have a tough one against Texas because Texas has some momentum with what Tremont Mark did the other night, just a sleep ago, that game winner. I think he come in with rhythm. But I think BYU is going to take over in that second half. And AJ's built for the moment, man. I don't like this Gonzaga team. I think they're overseeded, honestly. I like BYU to get out of that one. But when BYU goes against Purdue, I don't know. That is going to be that matchup, I think, in the second weekend. And I don't think BYU, if they do win that one, I don't think they can beat Arizona. I think Arizona is one of the top three teams in this tournament, obviously seeded properly. I'm stuck with, is it going to be Zona or is it going to be Michigan that comes out of that Final Four matchup to get to the national championship? But to answer your question, yes, BYU, strictly because of how much I love A.J. Debonsa. I think they got a real shot.
Jordan Cornette with Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. What's up with Darren Peterson? Since Abdalla went towards the NBA players, the guys who will be drafted, what's your opinion on Darren Peterson to this point this season?
You know what, Bleck? You could have started the interview there, and we could have gone for about the next hour and a half talking about it because there's so many layers to it. I actually happen to have a personal connection to the family. His father, Daryl, grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, was a heck of a basketball player at Western Hills High School. We were rivals, used to go at it. He ended up going to Akron, had a really good career. Darren is one of a few of his children that are high-level athletes. One was a linebacker at Wisconsin, and I think one was a volleyball player, and now obviously Darren. It's a very insulated family, and they're not a flashy family. They're not, out there and plastered everywhere. And I guess what I'm trying to say is they're very focused on the craft, and the craft for Darren is obviously basketball. I think that there's been a poor job done by both camps, Kansas and Darren, in controlling the narrative because it's spread like wildfire, and people have carved narratives that he's a bad kid, that he's a me kid, that he doesn't love the game. And I'm telling you, all those are false. If he didn't love the game, he would have folded and said, I'm not playing for Kansas. He would have quit a long time ago this season. What's going on is he's battling something physical to the degree, well, that hasn't been clearly shared. Does it need to be? No. But it's prohibited him from playing full 40-minute games and consistently being out there for a Kansas team that's invested a lot in him. Has that drawn ire? Sure, deservedly so. But what I can assure everybody is this kid has a pure love for the game. He's committed to it. He's a good kid, not at the core, just everywhere. There's no excuse to be made. He's a genuinely good, kind-hearted kid that cares about his teammates. And in that locker room, they love him. Coach Self likes him too. This is a guy that is managing something physical that has not been shared outwardly to the point where it needs to, where people are understanding what he's truly going through. I know Kansas City Star just wrote an article. I think it touched on some of it. But at some point, he's going to have to sit down himself in front of a camera. And heck, I might be the one to do it. And he needs to sit down and explain exactly his mindset. And rest assured, these NBA scouts, because this is not the draft to F with. There's a lot of talent out there and a lot of guys that can go before him. It's not the end-all be-all to go number one. If he goes one, great. If he doesn't, he's still going to have a long, illustrious career in the NBA because he's a unicorn talent and his head's in the right place.
Yeah, and they've got an insane part of the bracket here in that East. So, Jordan, who do you have in your Final Four in this year's tournament?
Abdalla. I'm still working through it, like I said.
Did you hear Jordan say that
but he's working
waiting
through
till the last minute? He's like me.
The last minute. It's Wednesday. What are we talking about
you're
here?
right. You're right. You know what? And I'm on a radio show. I got to start to give some answers. So right now, workshopping this thing right now. I got Duke. You guys are gonna laugh. You know what? I don't care. But this is where I'm at with it. I'm going.
He's
Duke.
gonna go all 4 ones, isn't he? He's gonna go all 4
No,
ones.
I'm not. I'm not.
He told us Florida.
Duke, Illinois, Arizona, Michigan.
Okay, I like that.
Now here's what I guess. This is what I'll tell you. Duke, Zona, Michigan, locks for me. 3 locks. The South, I could go Nebraska, I could go Vandy, or I could go Illinois. I'm certain it's not going to be Florida. So I'm just trying to figure out if it's Vandy, Nebraska, or Illinois, or maybe even Houston. But it'll be one of those teams. And I'm leaning towards Nebraska or Illinois. I do think this is the year of the Big Ten. And so because of that, I feel like they'll be represented with 2 teams. And I'll jump the shark here and tell you guys Michigan is the national champion of college basketball this season.
Okay.
All right.
Boom. See, don't let Abdalla give you
He's
crap.
got that. He's got
over it.
He's got the
bullied
national
me, didn't he?
championship filled in.
I've got stuff crossed out all over my bracket. I got to figure it out still too. I'm like Jordan.
I'll tell you what Bleck just did, or what Abdalla just did. He just put 40 minutes of hell on me. Just put Patino basketball, basketball. I'll be like, I'm in the corner. I'm in Kaufman's corner, about to choke that thing off, man.
Oh man. Jordan, I was watching you the other night on NBC covering the Hawks and the Magic. You were sitting next to Buddy Hield on the baseline there. It was awesome stuff. Keep up the great work. Keep up the great work with Westwood One Sports. We really appreciate you joining the show.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. And just to peel back the curtain, it's really cool for a bunch of guys who've known each other for a long, long time to start to climb in this business collectively together, man. Couldn't happen to 2 better guys. Love listening to you guys, and appreciate you having me on the show.
And anytime. Thanks, Jordan. We'll talk to you. Are you going to be at the Final Four? We'll see you there if you are.
You know what? I'm actually going to be at the Valero Open final weekend coverage on NBC for golf.
See, he does. Jordan does everything.
He's great on that.
And then the national championship, I'm back in Atlanta for the Hawks on April 6th. So this is my tournament. First weekend and the second weekend in the best city in the country in Chicago. I'll be there second weekend, guys. So maybe I'll run into you.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
There is Jordan Cornette, NBC Sports, also Westwood One Sports. You can listen to all the great coverage of the tournament right here on the Westwood One Sports app. And Jordan has the coverage in St. Louis, so it's the Friday, Sunday games of the first and the second round of the NCAA tournament. We've known Jordan for a very long time. We all worked together at the station we worked at in Chicago. When Abdalla and I were on at night for many years, we would always bother Jordan and his awesome wife, Shay, to come on our show.
Yeah.
And they both always made time for us, and we can't thank them enough, and they're the best.
Yeah, and he's got Illinois in his right now, maybe Illinois in his Final Four, which is interesting because I hear about people with Illinois is that they either have them out after the first weekend or in the Elite Eight or Final Four.
Well, it's with Illinois in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
I'm like looking around to find when's Illinois going to play. Oh, they lost.
They lost,
All right,
yeah.
Never mind. Peace out. All right, Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Max Crosby addressed the Ravens-Raiders situation. What happened there? What was his perspective? We'll hear from Max Crosby coming up in moments right here on Westwood One Sports. Every March, the tournament delivers the unexpected. This year, DraftKings Sportsbook is leaning into the chaos with Mystery Reward.
When you're set to place your bet, just select your mystery token in the bet slip and use cash or DK dollars to lock it in. Opt in today at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BNA. That's code B&A for Bleck and Abdalla. And opt in and claim your mystery reward at DraftKings Sportsbook. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. Must be 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. One reward per customer. Rewards vary and expire at the end of the final college basketball game. Each tourney round when offered. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos for more details.
The Broncos traded their first-round pick to the Dolphins for Jalen Waddle. Does the star receiver give Bo Nix the weapon he needs to push Denver to the Super Bowl? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
It felt shady when it went down. The Baltimore Ravens pulling out of the trade for Max Crosby. Crosby goes back to the Raiders about over a week ago. And the fallout from that is still continuing because I think it caught everyone off guard that one of the best players in this last offseason gets traded. And then the team that trades for him backs out of the deal, claiming that it's a medical problem with Max Crosby and his rehab knee. And so we've discussed it here on the show. It felt shady. It didn't seem like it was all on the up and up. Abdalla's the one that really called it out from the start, being like, I don't believe anything that the Ravens are saying. I tried to be more
Diplomatic?
Yes. Yeah, that's the way to say it. I was going to say even keeled, but yeah, diplomatic. Yeah, I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, after listening to Max Crosby speak on his podcast, I'm leaning towards your side.
Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah, I think the Ravens were shady as hell the way this went down.
Absolutely, because this isn't the first time they've done this. If they didn't have a track record of doing this, if this was the first time and all of a sudden when this happened with the Ravens and Max Crosby and they went back on the trade and you didn't have a bunch of other former players come out and say that we have stories of this happening to other players and other guys that we've played with, then I wouldn't have felt this way. Then I would have said, okay, maybe there is an issue. He is almost 30 years old. There can be lingering issues from a knee problem. But the fact of the matter is, this isn't the first time the Ravens have done this to sign a better player, to get a better deal with a player, or to get out of a deal just because they had buyer's remorse.
Yeah, the players know. And when you saw the deal fall apart and immediately you saw former players, I think Will Compton's the most notable with the largest platform, who was out there saying, hey, I know someone specifically that was going to sign with the Ravens in his playing days. And the person got to the facility and the facility was like, oh, you got something wrong here. We're not going to sign you. And the guy's never missed a game in the NFL.
It was like Michael Crabtree became available and they ended up signing Michael Crabtree.
They immediately signed someone else.
Yeah.
And so it not like when that happened, I was like, I'm sure a lot of players have this opinion and they think that the teams are against them. And like, I was trying to give the benefit of the doubt to the Ravens. I was wrong. I'm wrong. The Ravens are shady. This entire situation doesn't seem to make sense. And so why I've come to this conclusion is because I heard what Max Crosby said on his podcast yesterday. Let's take a listen. Here's Max Crosby. I'm talking about being flown out to D.C. and not Baltimore.
They flew me to D.C. because there wasn't many flights. We flew first class. They flew me to D.C. because I was only straight through. We had to drive 2 hours from D.C. all the way to Baltimore after the 5-hour flight, bro. That it was weak.
Right, you're a top-level player in the NFL, usually the way that works. And yeah, if you're someone that travels for a living, you fly a lot, maybe that doesn't sound that crazy to fly into D.C. and then drive to Baltimore, which is fair. I think if you're the type of player that Max Crosby is, and you're that level of athlete, you're used to different treatment where you are flown privately on a PJ, a private jet, and that you are flown into not the commercial airline airports. You're flown into a secret private airport that only the ultra exclusive rich people in this world know about. And I know just personally here in Chicago, the example I would give is that there are 2 major airports in Chicago.
Yeah.
There's O'Hare, one of the world's busiest and largest airports in the world. And then you have Midway, which is on the south side of the city, which also is a very busy, big airport. There is also multiple private airways, runways, and places, airports that you can go to in the northern suburbs.
Yeah.
Which the Chicago Bears utilize to fly people in and out when they are conducting.
Now they do.
They're different. Yeah, they used to be cheap, and that used to be a thing and a topic. But the point I'm getting to here, Abdalla, is there is a exclusive way to travel if you have the means.
Yes.
And it's not what was presented to Max Crosby in this situation. Here's Crosby talking about his interaction with GM Eric DeCosta and head coach Jesse Minter the first time he met them.
I thought I was going to see him when I first got there. I didn't see him for 5 hours. I go and do my thing. At the end, they're like, yeah, I'll take you up. Joe was like, I'll take you up and you go see the head coach, whatever, just before you leave. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, that's what I want to say what's up to him. So I went back up. I dap him up, and you could just tell, like, the energy was a little bit off. And the GM was standing in, like, the hall, like, in the room next to me to the right. And that was the first time I seen him. And, I'm just in my head, like, this is a whirlwind. Like, I'm so excited, like, fired up. You know what I mean? Like, this is a new opportunity, whatever. And you could just tell the energy was off. Like, I dapped him up. He had, like, a blank face. And I'm like, okay. I'm not thinking anything of it. Maybe he's just different. I don't know. I don't know him, whatever. I go into the room. They sit me down on the couch. And he's like, man, I don't know how to say this, but, one of our doctors has concerns with the results and whatever. And, like, with your knee, like, some of them have, are concerned about the future and da-da-da-da-da. And, we really want you, and this is what it is. But, we're just going to have to get more and more opinions.
So that was Max Crosby in the interaction he had with Minter and with DeCosta the first time he met them after being in the facility for 5 hours before he saw the two.
First of all, when Max Crosby and his wife got to the facility, DeCosta and Jesse Minter should have been at the door,
right,
greeting him. Hey, welcome to the Ravens. What's up? And the dap between him and his defensive-minded head coach, Jesse Minter, should have shaken the earth that the Ravens facility was on, because you just acquired a franchise-changing player that people were trying to jump over each other to get, you traded 2 first-round picks to get, that you had to move money and renegotiate with your quarterback to move money around to acquire. As soon as they weren't there, Crosby should have known something was up.
Yep.
As soon as he walked in the door, and he did, and rightfully so, and he knew something was off, and not talking to them for 5 hours and going to the doctor first. No, hey, escort him to the doctor. Say, hey, man, we're going to talk to you while we walk, show you the facilities. Here's this, here's our weight room, here's that. Oh, here you go. We're going to take you to our doctor. That's how you do things. I know it sounds quirky, but do you remember here in Chicago, as we broadcast out of Chicago, do you remember when owner of the Bears, when George McCaskey picked up the GM Ryan Poles from the airport?
Yeah, Ned Flanders.
Yes.
Yeah, he tried to drive him to the facility with his, what was he driving, like a Toyota Corolla?
Yes, I get that.
And he had him sit in the front seat.
But the owner was there to,
hey.
but he greeted him at the airport.
Hello. I'll drive you around.
Does it not show him the respect, though, that you want him in the building?
Yes, but
Okay.
it is
It's weird.
painfully cheap.
It is
and,
weird. It's weird.
Strange.
It's weird.
But yes.
Okay, but if DaCosta would have been in the car with him, like in the back of the car, in the back of the black car, whatever they sent to get him, that would have been cool. Chat him up on the ride. Get to know him.
Yeah, I mean, the way the Ravens approached it makes it seem as if they decided before Crosby even got there that they didn't want him, and they just wanted to find a reason to back out of the trade. Here's Max Crosby on how he found out the trade was off.
One of the Ravens guys called me and was like, yo, we're trying to figure this out. You know, we're gonna get this done. Don't worry. Like 5 minutes later, CJ calls me. It's like, they're backing out. I'm like, holy So I'm like frozen. I'm like, what the I'm livid, confused, the whole nine all in one. And so I told him, I'm like, I'm trying to get out of here, bro.
So that was Max Crosby on his podcast, The Rush, where he explains his side of the Ravens-Raiders situation, and it makes the Ravens look even worse than I thought that they did.
Well, and reports were that they were talking to Trey Hendrickson's people while Crosby was in the building, and then you had DaCosta saying, their GM saying that, well, we were trying to get both of them on the team at the same time. Okay, buddy. Sure you were. No, you weren't.
He did say that.
No, you weren't.
It is what he said to the public.
Yeah.
He did say that that was the case.
Sure you were. Okay. You weren't. This is what you knew was going to happen all along. You knew that you had buyer's remorse or whatever it was, and you figured out that you could get Trey Hendrickson, and this is a way to get out of giving up 2 first-round picks and having to absorb the Max Crosby contract. You found a way to get out of it, and then you found a way that you could pay Trey Hendrickson exactly what Max Crosby was making in cap space and get your two first-round picks back, and that's what you did.
Okay, so let me say this. Why, if that's the case, and they wanted to backpedal, what triggered the Ravens saying that we gave up too much? You know what I'm saying? Like, did they think, okay, so let's connect all the dots, right? There was a report from ESPN. Maybe report is the wrong way to phrase this. There was loose speculation from Rich Eisen suggesting that the Chicago Bears were offering 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby as well as the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
And that the Raiders went with the Ravens picks because the Ravens had a worse pick in this upcoming draft.
Yeah.
So that was out there before the trade, or just after the trade went down, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that was the case, is it possible that the Ravens thought that the Bears were going to come over the top and they were really just driving the price up?
Yeah.
And they thought that the Bears would come in and offer even more than 2 first-round picks and try and land Max Crosby, and that it's like the guy who's at the auction house, right? And he's there putting up the paddle for the auction, and then he's having fun with it. And so he's raising the paddle, and he's like, all right, they're going up they're up to huge numbers of money, right? And then they're like, sold to that gentleman. And he looks around and goes, wait, hold on. I don't actually, can I put it on credit? I don't actually have that money. I don't actually want to do that.
I would believe that.
Like, is it possible that they thought that another team, and just connecting dots, the Chicago Bears, that they were going to come in at a higher bid and that they wouldn't have to worry about it? And that's why they were playing the Trey Hendrickson side as well at the same time, because they figured they drove it up enough. They're going to get Hendrickson. And then, oh, crap, we landed Max Crosby.
I would believe that if I didn't see the Lamar Jackson gift guy, Denzel Washington training day, boom, like 5 hours before the trade went down. The trade was announced because he knew something, apparently. Or maybe he just was watching training day.
No, he clearly did, and it felt like the Ravens were all on board. And so what changed their mind?
I just think they got buyer's remorse. Like, they looked at it and they were like, oh man, like, we really gave away 2 first-round picks for a 30-year-old with a bad knee. And they looked at it and they said, well, now we can make, and then they were actually trying to get both, and they said, well, no, we can't, but Trey Hendrickson is actually interested in coming here. Well, we can get out of this.
Well, and there was
deal.
also the conversation about Hendrickson valuing? We talked about it here on the show. Did he value himself too highly? And there was the talk of, he's going to have to take less than what he thought he could get.
Yeah.
Because on the open market, no one's going to offer him the money that he was expecting to get. And so maybe because of that dropping, they changed their mind on the deal that was already completed for Max Crosby.
Yeah. And once I don't think that they read into it, but a lot of people, I mean, listen, if you're listening to us or you're listening to other sports radio and you're a GM and you're listening to everybody saying you gave up too much and then you're driving around and taking that into account, then you're probably going to end up on a set somewhere commentating on other GMs giving up too much, right? I think maybe he thought that he ended up giving up too much. Maybe DaCosta thought he gave up too much. Simple as that. Buyer's remorse, man.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Abdalla and I are going to take on Raj. Beat the Raj.
Beat the Raj.
We will come up with our final bracket with Abdalla, Bleck. Laura is a part of it as well. We need to come up with our finalized bracket. We will do that coming up next.
Afraid to miss a tournament game because of conflicts? Don't fret. You can listen to every March Madness matchup on the Westwood One Sports app. Download it now from your home of the NCAA tournament. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
What was your question about the Midwest bracket?
Okay, so we need Kentucky or Iowa State.
I think we go Iowa State there.
Iowa State, okay.
Hold on, we're back. It's Bleck
They
and
have
Abdalla here
no
on Westwood
hopes
One
of beating
Sports.
the Raj.
Raj, hold on.
The
Oh,
Raj.
that's the official one as we're
hold
leading
on,
into
1
Jim Rome
second.
here in a little bit.
Bleck and Abdalla, Jim Rome starting up in 15 minutes on Westwood One Sports. Make sure you download the podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Odyssey. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. Like and subscribe to the channel. Also, thank you to Raj and Laura for producing today's show, Bleck and Abdalla. We'll return tomorrow, noon to 3 Eastern, right here on Westwood One Sports. All right. So Abdalla and I are coming up with our official show bracket. Laura is on our team, and the three of us are taking on Raj. Beat the Raj. Give us the official one again. Beat the Raj.
Beat the Raj.
So we have two sound effects for Beat the Raj.
So proud of
here
us.
in the NCAA tournament as we follow along as March Madness is starting up. And Westwood One Sports, the app, is where you can find all of our great content, the games tonight, the games tomorrow and Friday, and all of the conversation around the games. Make sure you download the Westwood One Sports app. Laura, we spent a lot of time behind the scenes producing up these sound bites for Beat the Raj. Can you give us the corporate buttoned up one, the professional sounding Beat the Raj sounder?
Beat the Raj.
Well done.
So professional.
Well done. It's
That's
really nice.
corporate,
It's really good.
Buttoned up.
Yes. And then the Bleck and Abdalla version. Yes, go ahead with that one. Yeah.
Beat the Raj.
So here we are. We've got our bracket.
Almost.
We're filling it out right now. This is the one
Don't listen to him,
official
Abdalla. Don't let him push you
show
around.
bracket. Raj, we will give your picks in just a second. I'm pulling that up on my computer right now. But
Bleck, don't let
do-
Abdalla get you off things either. And Laura, make sure you have a voice, okay?
Yeah, Laura has helped.
Her bracket's still in the mail.
Yeah,
we're tracking
she asked
it.
us to send her a bracket.
We're tracking it. Okay, so we need to come up. We got a few empty spots here.
Okay.
Virginia, Iowa State. Who wins that game?
I'm going Iowa State. I think the Cyclones are pretty good.
All right. I was told they're overrated, but that's okay.
Well, we've
Follow
talked
your
to a lot
instinct,
of great
Abdalla.
people.
Follow your
All right.
instinct.
Michigan, Iowa State. Everybody's been telling us Michigan's the best team, and it's one of the best teams of the tournament.
Casey Jacobson told us that yesterday.
Yeah, so did Jordan. He said it's that's Big Ten's year.
Yeah, I think Michigan
All right, Michigan.
to the Final Four. So right now, Bleck and Abdalla, can you give off the region and the Elite 8 matchups.
All
Because
right.
I know, like, everyone has, you'll fill out your
Final
entire
four?
match, but give us the Elite 8 for
All
each
right.
region.
Our Elite 8. In the East, we've got Duke and Michigan State. I'm Duke. In the
I'm
South,
Duke.
we've got Nebraska and Houston. In the West, we've got Arizona and Purdue. In the Midwest, we've got Michigan and Iowa State.
Okay, so Raj's
Super
bracket. So beat Raj. So
Yep,
here,
yep,
this
yep.
is it. This is what Raj has.
We're actually pretty
in-
close after you guys just went through your Elite 8 of what I have. We're pretty close.
Yes. So here's what Raj has in the Elite 8. In the East, he has Duke and Michigan State. In the South, he has Nebraska and Illinois. In the West, he has Arizona and Gonzaga. And in the Midwest, he has Texas Tech and Virginia. So, Abdalla, in the Bleck and Abdalla official bracket, who do we have in the Final Four?
In our Final Four, we have Michigan State, Houston, Arizona, and Michigan.
Okay. And Raj, in his Final Four, beat the Raj. That's it. Beat the Raj. That's the competition, Laura. Beat the Raj. There we go.
Beat the
Yes.
Raj.
All right. Here's what Raj has for the Final Four. In the East, he has Duke. I'm Duke.
I'm Duke.
In the South, he has Nebraska. In the West, he has Arizona. And in the Midwest, he has Virginia.
Wow.
Abdalla, who do we have in the championship game?
We have Houston. We just have Houston. We don't have. We have to pick between
Arizona.
Arizona, Michigan, Arizona. Okay, that's what I thought.
We have Houston, Arizona. I'm glad that we're working this out minutes before Jim Rome starts up his show. We could have done this in the commercial
Well, you
break.
asked me. We tried. We tried
Yes.
to fill this out in the commercial break.
And then Raj has Duke and Virginia.
I'm Duke.
I'm Duke. It's my
I'm Duke.
court.
My tournament.
And
I'm Duke. I'm
Raj
Duke.
has Duke winning the championship.
Yes.
I had to. If you're going to come beat the Raj, I have to hit you with I'm
Wow.
And what do we do?
Beat the Raj.
All right, so Bleck and Abdalla bracket. What are we going to submit? Who's our champion, Houston or Arizona?
I think because it is us, it is Laura, it is also Josh Graham. I think he also has Houston.
Laura, what do you think? Where do we go, Houston or Arizona?
Arizona.
Arizona.
Laura wants Arizona.
I want
Josh
Houston.
says Houston.
And what do you say?
And you say Houston
I
as
say
well?
Duke.
Houston.
Sounds like a
You
whole
gotta
lot
be-
of dissension. Everybody
Oh,
should
Lord.
buckle in here.
Because I was going to say Arizona.
You were going to say Arizona?
Yes, I was going to say Arizona.
This is ridiculous.
I think
Don't
we
take
go
this lying
Houston.
down, Abdalla. You fight.
I think we go Houston.
Houston?
I think we go Houston.
All right, I'm writing in pen, not
Why
pencil.
would you
Okay,
ask
Houston.
me and then not take my pick?
I wanted you to be a part of it. Fine. Laura makes a good point. I say we go with Laura's pick.
Well, no,
I say we go with Arizona.
Now we're 2-2.
Yes, it's working.
No,
I got them
I'm
fighting each
saying-
other. It's working.
You agree with Laura and I, and we go Arizona.
No, I'm not agreeing. I wanted to pick Houston in my own bracket.
See, this is how you destroy the Avengers.
It's hard.
From
We
the
just
inside.
talked to Jordan Cornette. It's
I'm
hard to
Duke.
beat a team 3 times. He picked Houston.
Laura, what do you think?
Whatever. Do whatever Adam wants. Man.
Yes.
Whatever Adam wants.
How about we go Michigan?
Just completely flip it. We
love
go
it.
something that we're not even talking about right now.
Who's got a quarter on them?
I don't have any
I don't
change
have any
on
change on me either.
I don't have any
Nobody
change.
carries a quarter on them anymore.
Raj, you got a quarter?
I don't trust him to flip a coin.
I just love you guys fighting. I'm destroying the Avengers from the inside.
This is ridiculous.
I mean, that's what this is as we try and beat the Raj with this tournament bracket.
Beat the Raj.
You didn't find a quarter.
No, I didn't find a quarter.
Oh, wow. You're like very
Yeah,
upset about
he's
this.
at like an 8. I love this.
He's not happy that we've come
he's
to a
not.
standstill in trying to figure out this bracket. Like, I do feel like we have a pretty solid bracket when it comes to some sneaky upsets and some games.
I love this bracket.
I think it's a nice looking bracket.
I love this bracket.
I tell you what, though,
Everyone
guys,
loves their bracket today.
I'm feeling good about mine because I have to take on Bleck. I have to take on Abdalla. I have to take on Laura. I have to take on Josh Graham all by myself. I am the Jon Snow gif right now. That is me taking them all. Me and the nation's most hated team, the Duke Blue Devils, are in this thing together. I'm Duke.
It's my
That's
team.
disgusting that you picked Duke. It's disgusting.
Listen,
that you
no one. Duke is one of those teams that are fun. They're fun to hate.
What's your
there's
major,
a lot of Duke
Abdalla?
fans.
I thought we had this figured out.
I thought so too. Listen,
You changed your mind.
No, I agreed, and then
You're
Laura
snip-snapping all over the place.
Laura said, "What about me?" She didn't think we valued her opinion.
We do, but it's a vote. It's a democracy.
As
Destroying
we're
the
trying to
Avengers
put
from the
together our
inside.
bracket
When do
Avengers.
the portals start opening up and we get all the other analysts that we have? When does Fran Fraschilla show up? Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow at noon, actually. Noon Eastern. Yeah, we get noon Eastern.
Start of the show.
Start of the show. Fran Fraschilla will
He'll
show
join
up.
us.
Yeah.
He'll help us out. But we need to have this bracket locked in today.
I understand
We can't
that.
wait till tomorrow.
I understand.
Laura, are you positive you want to go Arizona?
Yes, doubling down on Arizona.
She wants Arizona. Abdalla, you got to figure something. You got 10 seconds. You got to figure something out. Jim Rome's standing by.
What does Rome think?
I don't know. Text him. You text Rome. Let me know how that goes.
Let me get
All right, Jim Rome's coming up. Abdalla's not going to make a decision.
I'm not. I'll tell you tomorrow.
All right, Arizona, Houston. What a tease. 24-hour tease. We'll be back tomorrow. Jim Rome next.
This is Westwood One Sports.